Hey guys, welcome to the GamersParadise podcast. It's me, Mr. Gamerman1000 here with the other host,
the intro this
Kiwi!
time.
Too bad, I'm
You're
too
right.
fast.
It is me.
But we're actually here with a special guest. Would you like to introduce
Our first
yourself?
special guest.
Our first special guest, this is true.
Hi, do I talk now?
Yeah, I said introduce yourself.
That was a long break.
You know what? No, you're nameless.
Yeah, I did that on purpose. Fuck you.
That was a long break. I don't know if I like that.
Yeah.
That's Ethan. There you go. You might have seen him in the Minecraft series or any other series.
Yep.
There you go. I
You mentioned
demonetized y'all. I cursed in the first 20 seconds.
No,
Exactly. We can bleep it.
No. If I
It'll
decide to
be
do that.
it'll get taken out in post. Don't worry.
I'm gonna be honest, if we cussed in the first episode, I didn't fucking bleep it, so oops.
Well, here's the thing: is that we're not monetized yet, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. And I also
Yeah.
really don't care about that, honestly, because
Well,
nowadays
eventually
most
we will,
people
but right now
survive
we
off
don't.
of Patreon rather than YouTube's
I mean,
algorithm.
true, but we had to get Patreon.
I know. I'm just stating that as a thing. But anyways,
this is all getting edited out.
no, I'm gonna leave it because it's funny. Okay, so here's the deal. There is no deal. We're here. So I guess we'll start this as every
I want to
podcast
start
does.
with something. I want
Oh.
to start with something.
Fine. I was gonna do the whole "How is everyone doing?" but I guess we're not doing that.
We will get to that, but there's something that needs to happen first. I know there's a gaming section, but this needs to happen first. Did you hear about Concord?
Yes. Oh
Concord?
God, yes.
Ethan, that is my reaction exactly. You're like, huh? This is a
I-
game that took 8 years to make. It was $250 million to make, and it was launched 12 days ago, and it is already taken off the store.
Okay, actually, no. I've never heard of this.
It literally made like I think $200,000 or $20,000, something like an abysmally small amount of money for a game that is like spent as much time as it did to being made. And
Yeah.
it's such a minuscule amount that the building they use to make that game doesn't cost the amount of money that game made isn't enough to run the electricity for that building for a week.
Yeah, mind you, this is from Sony Interactive.
Yeah, dogs.
Oh, of course it's Sony. Okay.
Yeah, so it's. Are we gonna wait for them to stop acting? Or are we just gonna...
Special guest star dogs.
Yeah, one of my dogs has actually been sick lately, so he's very angry.
Oh,
But we'll get to that.
he's just letting it out.
Yeah. So the Concord took it took 8 years to make. It was
Feel that.
$250 million, and it made maybe 20 grand. And it was so bad that I'm gonna.
This is really funny. So to help with this, they did like a beta test that was free for people to join, and I think barely 2,000 people showed up to play the beta.
Is that why they shut it down? Is because like it was just that bad?
No, it gets worse because keep in mind that's the beta. It was free then. They sold the game for $40. So imagine my surprise when no one played the fucking game. No one wanted to play it when it was free, and no one wanted to play it when it costed $40.
Did they advertise it? Because I've never heard of this.
They didn't. I don't think they put as much effort into advertising as they should have, but I don't think it would have
That
helped.
might have been one of the points.
Because Concord's like style, I believe, is based off of a franchise of other video games that have one, they're free, two, better mechanics, and three, actually looks good. Like the design of the other games are better than Concord's designs. Because if you've ever looked at like the character design for people in Concord, they look ridiculous. But when it came to like all of that, it basically was just there was no reason at all for anyone to ever play that game, because you could play a better game for free.
Okay, what's going on?
Yeah, you can just play TF2.
Doesn't TF2 actually paid for now? Like, don't you have to buy the game?
No, you don't.
Or is it
No.
free? Okay, I don't know why I
It's
remember
free.
buying TF2.
You did. You had to originally when it first came out.
I don't know, so I probably was one of the people who did buy it. That sounds
I
about
did
right.
too.
But anyways, yeah, Concord, bad game, and it will probably go down in history as the worst game ever made because of instantly being killed.
What's funny is like a lot like a big portion of what people say went wrong with the game was that it didn't have the right promotion for it. And to improve this, the first time I saw a commercial for it, I thought it was for Star Wars Outlaws. And so I before it even said Concord, I skipped the ad because I was like, oh, it's Star Wars Outlaws. I'm not interested in that. So
That's funny.
I thought it was a completely different game.
It's so bad it couldn't even look like its own game. That's really sad.
Like I immediately was like, oh, this is what Star Wars Outlaws is gonna look like. Oh, I'm not happy about that. Clicked off. Because I thought it was Star Wars, and when it wasn't, like when it didn't look like a good Star Wars game, I was like, oh, I'm gonna leave.
That's what I was telling Cody while you were gone, was that, like, I didn't know this existed until you started talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm, like, reading up on it as much as I can, so I can try to talk about it, and it's just review bomb after review bomb of people saying it's horrible.
No, but you saying that you had no idea about it is the proof in the pudding that that's what's wrong with it. That apparently nobody knew about it.
No, it's not
and
that.
The market is saturated with these kind of team shooter games at this point.
I don't think you were here, Q, when I explained this, but this Concord style of gameplay is based off of an already made line of video games that are not only free, instead of being $40, they are actually better looking, better playing, and the character designs are way better than what Concord had shown.
I mean,
basically, why would anyone want to play Concord when these games already existed?
But I thought it was a different version of like Overwatch, which isn't free. I mean, it's free now, but it wasn't originally.
No, there are games. So I don't know exactly what Concord's like style is. From the videos I saw, there were already a bunch of like games that were just like Concord that played better. And people were like, why would you play Concord when these games already exist and they're free?
Probably support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when it came to Concord and how it was managed, like not only was the advertising abysmal, but the general, like, I want to say like maybe fan service is the word, but like interaction with fans wasn't good either.
Yeah.
They weren't getting good rep from the fans.
Sony Interactive recently, unless if it's Spider-Man, they just love shooting themselves in the foot for no reason.
They love shooting themselves in the foot when it comes to games that don't have massive titles behind them.
Behind them is the more specific thing, because it's hard to forgive them after Helldivers.
Oh yeah.
Like that was the biggest, okay, by the way, my brother still plays it. You know how many people are actively online for that game on all three major platforms? Where at its peak it was 500,000 per day. Now you're lucky to get like 40 grand.
So just so you know, that isn't just because of what Sony did. A lot of it is, but it's also because of how the devs have been playing the game. They've been making it more and more difficult without balancing out so players can actually have fun.
No, I understand that, and because, like I said, my brother still plays it. I hear about it all the time. Sony is who killed the game.
Yes, no, they 100% shot the damn thing.
Developers have not done themselves any favors, but Sony took it out back and shot it in the head 3 times.
Yep.
They went from obvious game of the year to it's not even nominated.
Yeah, no. So here's what happened, right? Sony shot it in the foot and in the leg, and then they gave the gun and said, "Finish it off yourself." But with Concord,
Sony.
With Concord, they just shot it straight in the head.
Well, true, but I would say okay, we're gonna play like courtroom theme here.
Oh dear.
In defense of Helldivers, they can be, as far as the development team goes, that could be easily salvaged.
Yes.
Like me and my brother passed around ideas for about 5 minutes, and we're like, yeah, that could easily save the game. Sony literally will not allow it to become popular again. Like, they are purposefully killing it.
It also doesn't help that they have a banner now in that game that is basically like an FU to Sony.
Yeah, which doesn't look good either.
No.
Did
so
they
now
actually make the cape where it has the review
Yes,
things?
they made it fully. It's awesome, but obviously Sony didn't like it.
Cool, but that sounds cool until now you pissed off Sony, That's where you're getting your money from. So now they don't like you. They want to kill your project, and now you can't really do too much like you would like to do.
In this case,
So
they bit the hand that feeds.
Yes, and now the thing is, to save their own credit, they had to bite the hand that feeds. But the moment you do that, you're screwed. It was a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks the most, because you have, in a world right now where indie gaming is by far the best value, they could have come out as these new champions of the future, and now they're struggling to even face off against Starship Troopers, which hasn't even launched yet.
Yeah. Isn't there also I don't know if it's already dropped or if there's about to be, but isn't there also supposed to be like a Warhammer game that plays just like Helldivers?
Who gives a shit? No one cares about Warhammer.
Warhammer is one of the biggest fucking communities. What are you talking about?
I never got the hype around it.
I have
Warcraft way faster than I do Warhammer.
Well, that's because Warhammer has a fuck ton of lore.
That's probably it. Too.
It's obscene. Because
it might just be like one of those things where it's like you're too late to the party, so you just
no,
don't
definitely
care.
it's that, because like I need to preface this from like just the little bits I've seen. I already know they have a medieval section of all of the lore of Warhammer, but most of the versions people have seen is the spacefaring one. So that means they have a history that goes from medieval times to space travel. What the fuck? That's a lot of space to cover.
I'm not saying that it's not an epic. I'm not saying that it's not,
well, no, I'm just saying that just means that just shows you how much content there is with that lore, with like that facet of the world.
But usually games like that, if you change the style of play, people don't care, and that's for very popular titles. If you change how the game works, people will be like, I mean, it's cool, but it's not what I expect.
But
so. Like, if they release a Doom shooter, you'd be like, why wouldn't I just go play Quake? Like, you'd be like, who cares? This isn't what Doom is. So it's like, that's why I don't think a Warhammer game that's like that may not work. I don't think it'll, I don't think it'll crash and burn, but I don't think it'll be the next big thing.
Well, I don't think it'll be the next big thing, but I actually do think it actually makes more sense than Helldivers does. Because Warhammer, I believe, was a game, or a franchise, that actually was the original idea of, like, for the motherland, if you catch my drift. They've been doing that for years.
But that's not what...
Well, Helldivers is for democracy.
Russia. Yeah, but that's Russia, so...
I know, I'm just using that as an example, the quote of that.
Yeah.
I guess I should have just did for democracy type of situation. But it's more for... So, in Warhammer, it's, like, for the Emperor, basically, but...
well, that's not new. Even Warhammer wasn't the first one to do that. So
again, no,
I think that's a little
example. I think you're taking it way too fucking serious. What I'm saying is they've been doing that style for years. And they have so much content with that specific genre that it actually kind of makes the most sense for them to do a Helldivers type game. Because not only do they have, similar to Helldivers, a bunch of different factions, like you have the orcs who are really strange, you have the fucking, like, there's rat people, you have the Tyrannid people, which are like xenomorphs, you have different like demon-infused humanoid type people, then you have the humans.
Shit. Okay.
There's so fucking many, like, factions in that.
But that's
like,
also,
it makes
like,
perfect sense for them to do it.
So
Is
like,
it? That just means like there's a lot of content.
No, too many cooks, in the kitchen, like that kind of stuff. It's like, if you went to Helldivers and the first thing you saw was there's 8 different things you could be, it would be overwhelming because.
Well, no, I don't mean as B. I mean as in
already a lot.
I mean as in like the way Helldivers is, where you're the main people, you're the people under the Emperor,
and you're fighting.
And you're fighting all of that.
I know that's what I'm saying is that in Helldivers, fighting the 2 things that you fight already was for the very first time. Like, I'm saying, like, we didn't play Helldivers 1. We went into Helldivers 2 clean, and, it can be a little overwhelming at first. If you go in there and there's 8 things to fight, that'll be a lot.
Anyways.
I feel like I can't compete to this topic. Ethan, we never played, none of us have played Warhammer.
I know nothing about Warhammer.
I don't either.
Like, I've never heard of it. I don't get out there and play a lot of different games, actually.
I've never picked up a Warhammer game ever.
Wait.
So I could talk about it.
You've never heard of Warhammer?
No.
I'm surprised. Dylan talks about it a lot. Similar to Gundam,
Pretty
I would
a
say.
lot.
No, never heard of it.
Fine.
That is amusing.
We'll do a hard cut, change topics. Because Ethan can't talk about things he doesn't know anything about, apparently. He can only ever conversate about things he knows 100% about.
You can, Ethan, when you're talking, you can give your opinion on anything, just so you know. It's not just
How
us
can I give an
podcast.
opinion if I don't have an
Even
opinion?
you saying that, I've
Saying
never
something.
and I never played it, is it this style? What is it, how does it play? Like, ask questions about how. That's how you engage in a conversation when you don't know anything about it. You ask.
Yeah, I don't have many social skills at all, so
I don't
that's
ask.
on me.
Podcast here to help. Then we will guide you through podcasting.
We will cure your
but
autism. That is not scientifically proven.
Yeah. Okay. God damn it.
Disclaimer.
Okay, we will turn this conversation, and we're going to just press rewind, and we're going to start this again, right? Not legitimately over, but we're going to start this with, how is everyone doing today? This is the thing we should have started with, but we didn't. But anyways, Ethan.
I have an injured dog.
I will smack you. Ethan.
My dog is injured.
How are you doing this week?
This has been an eventful week.
So I know you have a conversation you've been wanting to get on.
See, I don't know how much I want to talk on that, because, like, it is a sensitive subject for a lot of people, but, like, going straight from having one of your pets die that has been one of your childhood pets for a long time, going straight to your anniversary is a weird combo.
Ooh.
Ethan, could you, like, give some context there? Because you just, like...
Shotgunned it, yeah, pretty much.
You gotta realize people who are watching this don't know who you are. So, you gotta give some context to...
Give us a short compilation.
Let me explain this in the best way I can think of. One of my childhood pets, Charlie, who has been part of our life for a long period of time.
Who is a kitty cat? So this is a
kitty cat, orange kitty cat. So you can imagine the shenanigans they get into, especially stealing food from other people. He was a cripple most of his life and lived a lot longer than a lot of cripples, I would think.
Yeah, his one of his back legs was kind of like, I think it's like a hip was a little bit
It was like stuck out, basically.
We still don't know if he was crippled or if somebody threw him out of a car. So,
yeah.
Well, that would still be crippled.
To note, when he would sit, to note for people understanding, trying to imagine this, when he would sit down, his leg would stick straight out as if it was his penis.
You don't need to say that.
I do, because it was funny. Every time I saw him,
like
it was so funny.
No, I know.
He was always happy.
Yeah, no, he was a very happy cat. He always had his pupils dilated like he was high on crack.
Oh no! Honestly, editor, put in a picture of Charlie here.
I'll be right back. Everyone, keep talking. My mom is up.
You bastard! Get back here!
You know, editor Cody, you put in a picture of him with his eyes dilated right here. Look at this cat. Look at him. He looks like he's on cocaine all the time.
My has bestowed upon me pancakes. Joyous day.
Didn't you just tell them to not bother you because you're doing stuff?
My mom was in her room and she's not feeling well, so I didn't want to bother her, and I just put my sign on the door, which she did see.
Well, yeah. When you go back to edit this, you'll hear what I said. So deal with that as you may. But yeah, so you lost a pet, and then you back to back had your anniversary.
Yes, but before that part of it, like the last day I saw Charlie was when I went to my dad to actually go see the virtual concert of Ninja Sex Party's 15 years.
Okay.
Is that how long?
That's how long Ninja Sex Party's been going on. 15 years.
No,
He's trying to ask if that's how long you had Charlie.
Yeah.
I don't actually know how long we've
that
had
would be
Charlie.
rather fitting and also a little grim.
Yeah. But like it
Sorry,
me and my dad something happened that like right before the concert that we knew he didn't have long left.
Oh, really?
So he was like really comforted for the last few days he was around.
There you go.
Because what happened was right before the virtual concert started, he started meowing in pain, and we were very concerned, like, Charlie, what's going on? And like he physically fell off the side of the couch because he like lost motor controls, and I think he had a seizure, and we didn't realize that till afterwards.
That's what it sounds
And like I went to go pick him up because I didn't know what was going on, and he completely stopped breathing, stopped moving, and shit himself.
Oh.
While I was holding him.
That usually happens with passing.
Yeah.
Which is why I was horrified. I was like, Charlie? Like, I just start shaking. I was like, Charlie? And like, as I shake...
Shaking him is not what you want to
No,
do.
not shaking him, like gently rocking him.
Charlie!
You're like shaking baby syndrome, like you just
You just hear like the marble shake.
shaking him around.
I just imagine you hear the marble shake sound effect as you.
Yeah, like those shit flying all over the wall. You're like, Charlie, wake up, Charlie.
Yeah, no, but like as I started rocking him, he looked back up at me suddenly. I felt him start breathing again, and he meowed at me like nothing ever happened.
Oh, lovely.
You're
And it was just
resuscitated.
the weirdest thing that just experienced right before that. And during the whole concert, my
Heart
dad was sitting
attack.
down holding him. Yeah.
Yeah. You couldn't even enjoy your concert. Jeez, Charlie.
No, we still
Couldn't wait
thoroughly
until
enjoyed the
afterward.
concert.
Okay, good. Yeah. At least he got to listen to Ninja Sex Party before you.
Yeah, I guess. I like to
Yeah.
imagine like you woke him up and he's like, had been the first half, not gonna lie.
But if I were to add anything else on top of that, it would be from my dad's side, where I know he had the worst of it because he was around Charlie a lot.
Yeah.
And one of the things I remember him telling me that's really actually kind of hurts to talk about was there was a night that he was really, really upset about it because he could feel it coming. He's like, Charlie, no, please. I need you here a little bit longer. I don't want you to go yet.
Oh, God.
And then it was a couple days later. Literally, I think the night of, I think my dad went up to Charlie just like, okay, I think I'm okay now. I'm ready to let you go. And that was the night that he came to cuddle up with my dad and Debs for a bit, and he went to lay down in the litter box.
That's sad.
No, I think that's it's beautiful.
It is very
Yes.
beautiful.
Because like here's the thing is that like obviously it's part of the grieving process is going through that, but like, what I think separates mindsets for for me and people that I know, like a Clayton, like somebody else that you might hear about frequently on here, is that death to me isn't something to be afraid of. Like, I'm not scared of death, and I'm not really afraid of like when I lost my grandmother a few years ago. Yeah, it was sad. Like, obviously, it was that happened. It probably helped that I did lose my my dog not shortly after that. My dog that we had for 16 years after that, because that was much harder to go through. But to me, being a man of belief, that I knew what my grandmother did. I know who she was, and it was much more peaceful because I knew that she was fine, right? So like losing Pippin, that's my dog I was talking about. Losing him absolutely sucked, but then a few days later, like it almost like you feel stuffy, like like almost like it's super humid or something like that, like
Yeah.
And then like the next few, like after a few days, it seems like everything just like you can breathe again. It's like you're fine. Okay, turns out life goes on. We're gonna lose people. Like one day, the conversation is we're gonna unless we pass first, we're gonna lose our parents, and the idea is that that's the eternal cycle. That you gotta care for them with the time that you have. I could tell you that for the audience sake, Charlie was like a friend group meme. Like he was very much loved by people.
Absolutely.
Him, Baxter, and a few of the others who are no longer with us. They are like
Baxter's still with us.
I thought Baxter's still around.
Yeah,
No,
Baxter's still around.
wait a minute.
Do you mean the other one?
Yeah, it probably was the other one.
What's his name?
Oh,
Is it
God.
Gizmo?
Gizmo.
It was Gizmo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gizmo.
That was one of the fine. I guess I'm mixing the two up. I guess I mixed up Gizmo and Baxter. I thought it was specifically that you had getting over Baxter.
I get it. We got way too many cats.
Yeah.
You do have a lot of cats. Okay, but that's what happened. I got Gizmo and Baxter mixed. But
That's
you know,
funny.
there we go. So Baxter's still around apparently.
You put him on a hit list, man.
Yeah, whittle the numbers down. No, but no, it's like he was cool. Everyone loved him. He was nice. So having that, I guess you'd say, more peaceful release that not everybody gets, quite nice.
Yeah.
And, beautiful in a way.
Yeah.
On a funnier note, dude, why is it that when your animals die, my animals die soon after?
Did what? Wait.
Do you remember when Gizmo died? Like within a month, Trinity died, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
And do you remember how? Okay, so okay, I'm trying to remember how recent was Charlie's death.
I don't think it was this week. I think it was like the previous week.
Okay, just before that, I think we swapped place in this one. Like a few weeks before that, or even just a week before that, my sister lost her guinea pig pet. Why do our animals die opposing?
Oh, just bad timing, I guess.
It's weird. Now I'm worried, like if here's
the thing, it's more just odds because Ethan runs a menagerie out of his house.
I have a menagerie here as well. I have probably more than he does now.
That's what I'm saying is the odds of you two losing entities within the same time frame is much more likely when you have 20 of them each in your house.
But what I will say is, in a similar spectrum to what you were talking about with Charlie and your dad's last moments with him, I woke up. No, sorry. I think it was around 6 in the morning. I was on my computer. I think I was working on D&D, as I normally do. And I could hear my sister, the way she was speaking, like I know my sister very well, so I know when she is crying. So when her verbality changes in such a way that or the tone, you know when she's crying, when she's sad about something. So I immediately ran out of my room, and sitting in her hands is her guinea pig that is having trouble breathing. And in a very similar sense to what you had said with Charlie, it almost seemed like it was having a seizure.
That's what usually happens, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. We assume the guinea pig died of some lung shit, because that's very common for guinea pigs to die of that, especially when they grow up in houses that have cigarette smoke, which we adopted her from a house that did. Mm-hmm. Because we had a guinea pig that was friends with that guinea pig that passed away of a similar situation a while back. But with this specific guinea pig, whenever it was I immediately tried to see if we can find ways to resuscitate the thing. When I had returned to attempt a method, I could see she was ready to pass. She was on the edge. I picked her up and I told my sister to walk out of the room. And the moment she left and sat with my mom, I felt the guinea pig stop breathing.
I'm awful. I'm sorry. I just imagined. I'm sorry. When you said leave the room, all I could think of, you're like,
oh god,
I'm gonna make this quick, and you just like snapped its neck or something. That's
I need you to standing over the guinea pig. I need you to leave.
Yeah, no, I thought that's where the story was going. Is that you're like, I'm gonna make this
I leave
quick.
the room as a brother. I come back as the Reaper. Okay.
Yeah.
But no, when it had happened, I physically was holding onto the guinea pig, and I felt it stop moving entirely. I felt everything on it cease. And I made sure to wait for a while to see if anything would come back. I would do guinea pig chest palpitations, because I looked that up. Nothing. It was clear to me she had passed. And I am so fucking thankful I told her to leave when I did. Because it's not the first time I've had to hold a pet that has died in my hands, but it's a feeling I never like to experience, and I could not imagine giving that to her.
No one likes to experience it.
Which is why, like, again, this is a super protective older brother thing here. Like, the moment this kind of shit happens, I'm always like, get out of the way so I can take the burden so you don't have to. Because it's not a fun feeling.
I would say, because I also have a little sister who's slightly older than yours.
Yeah.
And it's like, I completely understand that same mentality. However, I guess where we separate is well, first off, pure separation. My sister doesn't live with me. But like another way is to me, at their age, which is my sister's 17, I believe yours is 16. They're not like 7. Like, at what point do you gotta let them go through an experience to?
My sister is
mature.
15 right now.
Oh, I thought she was 16. Okay.
No, she's 15.
Yeah, then still, I mean, 15.
Yeah.
That's actually a tough question to answer because, like, I know I'm personally fine when it comes to pet deaths now because I've experienced them a lot at this point, especially with the type of family I am surrounded with.
Yeah.
But when it came to Gizmo, he was the first pet death I had.
Yeah.
And he had to be, like, medically induced into.
He had to be put down.
I don't know why I phrased it like that. He had to be put down.
He had to be medically taken out.
I was the one holding on to him when it happened. And that was also the first time that I had to go through a pet death, and I wanted to be the one that held him.
Yeah.
Because I was the closest with him, and we both had a thing with each other that we just loved each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gone through a lot of pet deaths, but it wasn't the first or the last that hit the hardest. It was the in-between. Because the Trinity, when he passed, that was the hardest thing in my whole goddamn life to experience. Because I had raised him from an actual kitten, and he was like 15 years old.
Yeah.
He was an old-ass cat. We've had him for so long. He had cancer going throughout his whole body, and to the point where, like, it would create tumors and shit. This cat did not give a shit. He would bite out his own tumors and then continue on with his life.
Wow.
Damn.
He was what I consider a badass cat. He didn't give a shit. But at some point, his body wasn't doing super well. These tumors kept popping back up, and we just decided to take him to the vet to see what they could do, see if they could just remove it and hopefully it'd be fine. But they told us, they basically said he's too old, and if we do this, there's not a guaranteed chance he's going to live. So the best thing you can do is, because he's probably suffering, is to put him down. And keep in mind, everyone, this was during the heyday of COVID.
Yeah, this is mid.
This is the worst part about it, is because I got a phone call when I was babysitting that this was what's going to happen. I wasn't there for my cat. And worst of all, no one he loved was, because they wouldn't let us back there.
Oh, yeah, that's fucking
I wanted to raise the building down.
Which one was this?
I believe it's the one on 54. But during COVID, they literally would not let anyone back there to do stuff with the pets. They said they pet him, said he was loved and all that, but, like, I don't care. You're not my cat. Like, you're not his owner. You're not his family.
Person. I would say, like, at least
someone. But no, they didn't let anyone back there, and I was livid. But
yeah, no, that's fucked up.
For people on the podcast, I'm not saying go crazy when this kind of shit happens, but go fucking crazy, you know? Be there for your animal.
Well, yeah, it's more like because I lost my grandmother from all that, the COVID era, and that was also a separation thing, where luckily for us, I wasn't there, but my older sister and my dad were. Where you couldn't be in the same room with her the entire time that she was in the hospital until they went to basically just let it end. And so they got to go in the room for that. But in this instance, it's kind of a very similar aspect, even exactly even worse because you weren't there to be there at the end.
Yep. Which is again why it's like, to me, I think that was the worst death I've experienced when it comes to pets, because I felt like I couldn't be there. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, like, what I think the separation there is medical values between people and animals, and how medically you can't really think of animals as family members, which I understand.
Yeah.
But like I was saying earlier, losing Pippin, the dog I had for 16 years, like 4 months after I lost my grandmother, was so much worse. And it's not because I didn't love my grandmother. It's not because I didn't see her a lot, but I lived with Pippin for 16 years.
That definitely is the biggest thing, is living with the person or the creature.
Yeah. Like, I saw my grandmother every single week, 1 to 2 times a week, but I lived with him. He slept in my bed.
So,
We're tight-knit.
a few years back, my... What
It was going to be called the sad cast.
Sorry, what is it called when someone's... When, like... Okay, hold on. I don't know the fuck... I'm just gonna say grandpa because I can't think of it. My grandpa...
Uncle?
That is it. It's uncle. Thank you. Could not think of that. My uncle had passed away a while back because he was going through stuff like dementia and shit and Alzheimer's. All that horrendous shit.
Your uncle?
He was old. He was old. So old that, like, just so you all know, and how
Your
also
parents
badly...
Are super old.
She's like, my mom is like in her 60s.
His social
Like, late
security
60s.
number was 7.
Okay.
But
okay.
so in this situation, he, like, in his normal life, the times that I knew him, we only visited him like once a month, but we still loved and hanging around him, especially because whenever I knew him, I was much younger, so like his impression was always big because he was like a grandfather to me. But when he had been basically taken to like one of those like old folks home and stuff, and they basically stopped caring for him, like, the dude changed in a drastic manner. Like, this guy used to be a bit round. When I went to see him at his deathbed, he was as thin as a stick. He did not look like my uncle at all. It was wild to me. But getting back to the original point is, because I had only ever seen this man so little times, his death, when it eventually happened, wasn't as big of a deal to me as it was my mom, because she knows him better than I do. Yeah. And she, because she was on medicine at the time, didn't feel it until after a while, and then it hit her. But, like, for me, it never hit at all. I didn't feel anything, because it was just, like, I wasn't as close.
Yeah. It's all about perspective.
And to prove a similar point, this is also kind of bad, his wife just died as well, just recently, actually, like within a few weeks. But no one fucking knew. It, like, just
sad, yeah.
It's sad, yeah, but, like, similarly, like, no one knew. It was just recently discovered. Like, her family didn't fucking, like, tell anyone until, like, semi-recently.
Yeah.
And it was like a surprise, but it was like, oh, well, I guess that kind of happened. And then we moved on.
Because you just didn't know her.
Yeah, we didn't know her.
Well,
but the fucking cat!
Like, for me, I don't know, have you guys lost any closer family members?
Not me,
the
no.
closest I've ever had was my great-grandmother, and I'm not close to a lot of my extended family.
Yeah, I know.
For reasons I will not say on YouTube.
I did have a church friend that passed away, and he was an older fella, but he was super fucking funny, super cool to hang around. Like, I talked to him a lot when I went to church all the time. It was like every week I'd go and I'd sit with him and I'd talk with him. He was just a really nice old guy, but he had like a fuck ton of health issues. And at some point, I remember I legit was just talking to my mom, and I think my pastor was in there talking with her, and at some point he turned and was like, by the way, did you know that Mark died? He passed away semi-recently? I was like, what? I legit had to take a double take.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know. And the fact that he died, actually, that one did hurt a little. Not as much as Trinity, because I didn't know him as much. But because I actually knew him a lot better, that one did hurt.
Yeah.
That felt like losing a friend.
Well, that's what I'm getting to was... I think one of the things that hurt the most losing my grandmother wasn't... Like, yeah, obviously the act of losing her was bad. What was almost worse is... So I guess for context, not to get deep on... I guess this is therapy hour. So my parents were never together.
Welcome to the Sadcast podcast.
Yeah, exactly. My parents were never together. I was a product of a one-night stand, essentially. But my mom very quickly got with who came back, my stepfather, and they're still together to this day.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'd never had somebody there. Well, my dad was very there for the first 7 years of my life, and then he became like a here or there kind of person. So he was in sometimes, out some other times, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But he was always there for moments, right? Like whenever a moment happened, he was always there. So he's very consistent in when he needed to be. But, and I know losing your mom, because this is his mom, my grandmother, losing your mom has to be one of the hardest things to go through besides losing a child. But
I wouldn't know.
when shut up. So when my grandmother died and we had the funeral, she was a churchgoer. She had lots of people there. They had to turn people away because
God damn.
This was coming out of COVID too. Was just coming out of it, where they were like, hey, we can't actually have this many people in here for COVID laws. And point being is, I was there an hour early before they told us to be there. They said, family can go in there an hour early and that kind of stuff, so they let me in. And point being is, I was standing up there, because you know how you used to always stay up, other people who lost somebody stayed up near the coffin, I guess you'd say. And people would come around and like shake their hand and give sweet nothings to their ears. That kind of stuff.
Yep.
Well, out of me, my older sister who was there, and my dad who was, the main core family that knew her, I was the only one up there. I was the only one that was an hour early. My sister got there on time. My dad was late.
That's fucking
and I'm like,
infuriating.
I'm like, they didn't have the best relationship where they were snippy to each other, but they were definitely had a deep love for each other. Like, there's no denying that. But I also can understand that they had a back and forth relationship too. And I also know that it's hard to lose somebody like that. But the one time you really need to be there, it irked me that I would, like I said, my older sister had been through enough throughout this entire series. Like she was the one kind of in and out of the hospital the most and all that kind of stuff. So I can understand her being on time. But it's my dad being late. Like, you should have been there before me being an hour early, and you were late. You were one of the last people who came in. They were going to turn him away because they're already turning other people away, and he was like, no, I'm the son. And then they had to let him in because of that. But it's like, come on. I had already talked to 40 people by the time he even, we even knew where he might be.
I'm also going to guess he didn't stick around a lot.
No, he was there to the very end.
Oh, okay.
Like,
at least he fucking did that part. No,
he was there. He was there after me. Like, he was there after they had already put all the dirt on and patted it down and everything like that. So he was there the longest.
What sucks is, like, what would, I don't even know if you know this, but like, what was his excuse? Because, like, in almost every single case, even your job, they'd freely let you leave if you had to go to a funeral.
Oh no!
So what was holding him back?
No, he didn't work that day. He didn't work that.
So he just fucking was late because he was lazy?
No, well, look, okay, so
the fact that you have to second guess yourself isn't
so
adding to it.
No, so he works for a family-owned business, so for a private business. So they already knew about the situation. They knew about him, so they didn't expect him to come in. Like, that was never a scenario.
Yeah.
But for him, if I'm going to take this from his perspective, one, losing a parent's hard. He lost his dad when he was 13, and he lost his stepdad for a long time when he was, like, in his 30s. So this is somebody who's used to losing people, but I think losing his mom surprised him. Additionally, she got into the hospital originally because she got COVID. Now, she didn't have COVID. That's not what she died from, but that's what she had when she originally went into the hospital. The reason she got it was from my dad, and he knew that.
God.
So I think that affected him a lot more than he says it does. Because even now he's like, it doesn't matter ultimately. But I think especially at the time that affected him, and he already is like a family meme of being late to everything. Like one of the jokes is he's gonna be late to his own funeral. He probably he'll find a way. But
Yeah.
but this was like really the one time you needed to be there, and
The one time to clean up your act.
because I'm
basically.
saying he even openly admits that he didn't really raise any of the 3 kids that he had. So like if you can recently be openly admitting to that, maybe you should I don't know, have some introspection and be there. It's an option. Like I'm 24. My older sister's mid-30s. My younger sister's 17. Like yeah, sure, time has passed. But this was your mom, man. Like I couldn't imagine if my mom passed, if my brother wasn't there at least an hour early, I would be absolutely off. Like I would be beyond this realm angry. Like, and it's like because that's your mom.
You should just be there, like common sense wise.
As hard as it is, you owe it to them to be there. Like I said, the hardest thing you could ever do in this entire world is lose a child.
Yeah.
But fuck, you gotta be there.
Yeah. Anyways, to sway us off this depressing topic that we've been on for 45 minutes, or it's probably 30 minutes, honestly. Why don't we play some games?
All right.
No, by the way, I'm fine.
We're all fine. We're all a little fucked up, but we are fine.
Okay.
It happens. We've moved past it. It's just kind of something to talk about.
Hey, one of the best things you can do is talk. Anyway,
It's true.
I
am
with
the
that,
group therapist.
yeah, we all have our own. Okay, so with that being said, though, what y'all willing to play today?
Willing that we already had something planned.
Well,
Maybe,
so I was curious, are we doing?
Let's maybe do Hills We Would Die On.
There it is. That's what I was trying to get
I
at.
wanted to introduce hot takes as its own thing, but they were like, it's similar enough to a game, so we're just gonna make it a game. So we're doing hot takes, everybody.
Yep.
We're gonna take, depending on the edit, 1 to 2 hot takes each, and we're just gonna go in a line. So who wants to go first?
I kind of want to get mine out of the way because mine's kind of stupid.
Go for it.
All right, go.
All right. This may or may not hurt Ethan. We'll find out because I don't remember exactly. All right, but here's my hot take. My Little Pony is a little girl show, not meant for grown-ass men. And I'm gonna be honest. Stop. Stop watching it. You don't have to watch it. You could watch other shows that are not that don't make you look like a creep. If I'm being honest, like just go watch something else.
I don't know why you're specifically targeting me, but
Because you watched it.
Not that much. No, I'd watch it.
I say that it might hurt you because I do recall you saying you did watch the show, and I think you said you liked it, but I don't remember.
It's not like the best thing.
No, for context to the audience, your wife watches it. You watched it with your wife.
No, my wife wanted me to watch it with her because she wanted to see how I enjoyed it.
That's literally what I just fucking said. I'm gonna flip this fucking table, Ethan.
Do it. Do it.
Your wife watches it. She wanted you to watch it too. And then you go, no, my wife watches it. She just wanted me to watch it with her. I'm gonna fucking punch you in the throat.
Well, he was just being a bit more specific.
I guess. So yeah. So you don't like go out of your way to watch it on your own.
No.
So the reason I want to actually put this out there is because of one issue that I had when I was super young. When I was like back in like the learning ages of the internet, I fucking hated My Little Pony because every time I wanted to look at a cool character from a TV show, a comic book, a movie, they were fucking ponies. Iron Man, guess what? He's a pony. Link, cool-ass warrior, he's a pony. He rides a pony. Ugh.
We need a Mr. Gamer Man pony.
Please don't. I will actually kill him.
Make a Mr. Gamer Man pony.
Please don't. But no, like legitimately, stop touching shit. Because leave him alone. But
I guess to chime in, I 100% agree, but for a different reason. I'm assuming for a reason you're gonna get to, which is I don't give a fuck about making Iron Man a pony. I don't care at all. What I care about is if you are a grown-ass man watching a children's TV show, particularly a girls' little TV show. Like I can understand if you're like, because even I'm like, hey, sometimes I like to watch Teen Titans because I watched it as a kid. I get that. When you're watching a little girl show, 1, you grow the fuck up. 2, you're probably a pedophile. 3,
That I wasn't gonna say it, but that's kind of what you look like.
Yeah, that is the vibe you're giving off, and you need to like, look at the mirror and be like,
Yeah.
okay, this isn't really for me. Unless you have a daughter. That's the only thing you can say. I watch My Little Pony as a grown-ass man, but I also have a 5-year-old daughter. Then it's okay. Because you're watching it for your kid. You are not watching it.
Yeah, if you have a reason to watch it, I think it's fine. But if your reason to watch it is, I like the
you
ponies.
enjoy it.
Yeah. You just sound like
you
a
either
creep,
are
I'm sorry.
underdeveloped grown-ass man, or
I do not need to see
like
a
it.
Discord moderator, which is kind of funny. Okay, I'll change that. A Redditor, fucking creaming over a fucking pony, right? We just get that out of the way. We don't need that.
Yeah, no.
But to lighten the end of that, because that's my big thing. That's the one I had that was mostly planned out.
That's a good one.
I will state, at the end of the day, people can watch what they want. I do not care, actually. Yeah, that's just the one I could think of. But
no, I care.
the only issue I have is if you're watching shit that's like CP, you can fucking die.
Oh yeah, 100%. Get hit by a bus.
Get hit by a fucking meteor, specifically for you.
You know what? I know this is more going into a little bit of anime, but I was talking about this the other day of the separation between, I guess you'd say, more rated R animes versus like lolicon, which is obviously everyone that I've ever met is against lolicon because you're trying to draw
I don't
children.
like lolicon because it's just fucking children.
Something
That's
I was
another hill I'm willing to die on. Lollies are fucking stupid.
They are.
No, but something. But this is what I was talking to Kevin about it, which is
I'm 700.
yeah. But no, what I was talking to Kevin about was obviously everyone cannot you pretty much unanimously agree that lolicon is in the same vein as watching My Little Pony as a grown ass man by yourself. You're hedging on some lines here that you really shouldn't be going down. However, like for context, I guess we were the same age as they are, so maybe it's not as weird. But when we were like 17, we were watching To Love Ru, and that has nudity in it. That has sexual things going on, and they are 15, 16. So it's like, but the idea is they're all drawn as pretty much adults. So it's like, where do you draw the line there? Because I can kind of see both ways where it's weird, but it's not that
like that's
weird.
a show that we grew up with, so it's kind
That
of
is
weird
true.
to look back on it and be like, oh, that was what the fuck. Like you watch it again, it's like this is why were they drawing it like this?
I mean, no,
but when
that's
you were
true.
like the age of the characters, you're like, oh yeah.
No,
It's kinda
I guess
weird
it's fair,
to
but I'm
think
saying
about.
like, no, I'd say, but it's like, for fuck's sake, I'm gonna
Okay.
rip this
Okay.
fucking
I'm
door.
okay. So I'm just really glad. I was sitting. You guys were like, it's a show we watched as a child. I'm sitting here just like, what the fuck is show you guys talking about?
I said we were the same age as the characters.
Yeah, no, we were at the same age, maybe even younger than the characters when we watched it.
Maybe when you guys started, because I was.
I
late to the party.
never watched To Love Ru. That's why I looked it up. Jerusalem was like, "Is this a show?" I just don't remember the name. No, I've never watched To Love Ru.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
Japanese
watch.
only
I didn't
for
watch a
time.
lot of like. The most Japanese I got when I was younger was probably like Pokemon and Digimon. If I'm being honest.
Dragon Ball.
I did not watch a
Japanese.
lot of Dragon Ball when I was younger. I got that through specifically the movies, or like the occasional VHS tape that had an episode recorded on it. It was only until later that I actually started doing it,
fair enough.
watching a lot of Dragon Ball. But yeah, no, most of mine, like I kid you not, I had a stack of VHS tapes that were Pokemon episodes.
No, yeah, no, I did too.
That was my Japanese intake, and I thought they were American made back in the day.
Oh, oof. No, actually, that was one of the cool things about like Teen Titans is, like, when it was a silly filler episode, the intro was in English, but when it was a story-based episode, they were in Japanese.
Yeah.
And like that's something that stuck with me I really like that show because of something so small like that. That it is, even though I think it's actually drawn here in America, it's from the Japanese art style. Like that's really what it is at its core.
Also, I do just want to state, because it did just occur to me, I think my first experience of what I will consider true Japanese animation was probably the beach episode of Bleach.
Nice.
Oh,
I
God.
did get to
I've
see
never
that at
watched
some
it.
point, and I was like, oh,
I've never seen
so
it.
this
I'm
is
trying to
anime.
think on what my first anime would be. I think it is Dragon Ball.
Yeah, mine was probably Dragon Ball too.
I can't
Mine
think
Or
of-
Pokemon.
Mine was definitely either Digimon or Pokemon. I think it's a toss-up between the two.
You know what? I don't think she was in the Smash or Pass. As a child, Misty was definitely a Smash.
I didn't like her at all back in the
What?
day. She was so naggy.
But that
She
was, like, the
hated
point.
every step that man made. I'm sorry,
was,
I
like,
don't
the
like
point.
that. I don't find that as a...
Sundre.
I
what
don't
she's
care
supposed to be.
if she's
Look,
going to be
look.
annoying at every step of the journey. Like, get the fuck out. I have
No,
grown ass
she's the
adult
best.
man who's going to be there doing that shit. I don't need you nagging at my ears. Get the fuck out.
No, that she was the best.
I liked what was the blue-haired chick's name?
May.
May. I liked her character, like, just not
Nah,
design, but
fuck
her
that
character
bitch.
personality? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Her voluptuous personality.
No, I don't know what word I'm
She
trying to
wasn't
find
as
here.
petite
What's
as
the character's
her-
name? I don't even know who you're talking about here.
I think it's May.
I think it's
I
May.
think
It
that's
might
what
be
he's talking
May.
about. She's not the blue-haired girl, but it's like the most popular of the three.
Is that okay? Then
Oh,
it
I
might not be
typed in
right.
MEI and got Overwatch. Cool.
No, May, M-A-Y, you idiot. Like the
No, okay, no.
They
I'm
sound
thinking.
the same.
I'm thinking of.
fuck.
I'm thinking of Dawn. I liked Dawn's character a
thinking of
lot
Dawn.
better. Because to me she wasn't as annoying as Misty was. She
No,
was
Misty was great. You're just a hater.
impossible.
You're just a hater.
No. I had many
Just a
times to
hater.
reflect upon Misty's attitudes, considering I rewatched almost every episode that I had collected.
But that is not a hot take. At least not yet. So, Ethan, you want to go next, or you want me to go next?
I can go next. It's fine.
Darn
Because
it.
mine's not even that big. Fucking hate country music. I can't
Yeah.
stand it.
Yeah.
So
For reference, we live in the Middle East of America, more towards the south, so country music is very prevalent here.
it is. I don't mind some country music, but I definitely prefer like country rock. I think country rock can be really good sometimes.
It doesn't matter what you put with it. It sounds the same to me. It all sounds like it's the same song.
I will say there are some country. Like, now that you say that, where do you put like someone?
My God, they're going crazy.
Where do you?
How thin is
Where
your
do you-
door?
It's actually not very thin. They're just like very loud. But where do you put Johnny Cash? Because this is a very specific. Because if you say you don't like Johnny Cash, we legitimately cannot be friends anymore.
I like
I never
Johnny.
went out. I never went out of my way to listen to him. Oh, he fucking left.
Did he?
No.
Okay.
But no, I'm back. I had to step off stage for a minute. That was absolutely
You had to crack
egregious.
the whip.
No, I had to go punch a hole through the wall. You've never heard Johnny Cash?
The only time I heard Johnny Cash was while we were playing that Zombies map.
Really?
That was the only time I've ever heard Johnny Cash.
Oh, he's so good.
I like
You should
Johnny
listen
Cash.
to Johnny Cash. But anyway, no, because like I would consider him country, but he's like the best version of country who's ever countryed. So, I guess that's the difference.
So
But besides
I'm-
Johnny Cash, I don't really care at all about country music.
I'm trying to think of the statement Ethan had said earlier, where it's like all of it sounds the same. I get that
But
in
all
like
does
a
sound
lot
very
of like
similar.
in a lot of like this in like the ones that we especially were probably raised around. Like I could understand that, but I know
Yeah.
for a fact there are some that do not sound the fucking same.
Maybe now that it's modernized a little bit, but it's like the same thing with like mumble rap. All of them sound the same. It's all like weed, girls, weed.
I guess I
Yes,
should.
freaking
I
weed.
guess I should clarify
like,
generic
come on.
country music then.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll ride on my little red tractor. We can go slow or we can go faster.
Oddly enough,
Right.
I do have a pleasant memory of that song.
Yeah.
Boom! I ruined your argument. Let's go.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
I think you literally found the only one that I
That's
have
funny.
a pleasant memory with.
Okay.
And that's
Did-
only
did-
because one of my favorite elementary school teachers did that during a talent show while riding on a little green tractor, and he sang Little Green
I need
Tractor.
to look up something real fast just so I don't look like a fool. Because I'm not really good at remembering like artists and like their songs. Okay. That's a fucking name. Do you do y'all remember the song "Smoke on the Water"?
No.
No.
What? That's crazy.
We don't
That
listen
was-
to country music.
No, that one I used to love a lot. I like when I got my very first phone, and keep in mind that was like one of those like cheapo ones that was like you
Flip
could just
phone.
it was a flip
Oh,
phone.
it's that song. It's the fucking dan.
Yeah, that.
Dan.
Smoke on the water, fire in the sky.
I
That's
reckon-
not really country. That's
I
more rock.
recognize the
Well,
riff.
it's country
That
rock.
doesn't sound like country. I'm talking about generic country.
I know.
Yeah.
But no, what I was trying to get to is like that song. I think is fine. I think that's a really good country rock song. It's also really funny because I didn't know what their band name was. I was sitting here like, please tell me it's not fucking the guy you just said whose name I've already forgotten.
Johnny
Cash. I was like, please don't let it be Johnny Cash to make me look like the
Johnny
fool.
Cash? Johnny Cash sounds nothing like that.
Well, no, that's the thing. I haven't heard that song or him
Ring of-
in
Ring
so
of Fire.
long.
Ring of Fire sounds nothing like fucking Smoke on the
No, that's the thing. I haven't listened to any of Johnny Cash's stuff in so long. I listened to that back in the day because that was what was on the radio, right? I didn't outwardly look for Johnny Cash. I like some of his songs, but I didn't outwardly look at it. But I was just so terrified. I was gonna be like, oh fuck, did I just like? Am I gonna say the song that he sang and be
No.
like someone else sang this? But oh, thank the Lord, it's a different song.
No.
Also, the name of that band is really funny to me. It's just called Deep Purple.
Nice.
Definitely a weirder name.
Purple
I think it's
Rain.
funny to me specifically because I just got done rewatching Lytherio's video on the Sonic, what is it, Sonic 06? And there's like a whole bit in like the
Best
Shadow
Sonic
segment.
game.
There's like a whole bit in the Shadow segment where it's just like, screw
Is that-
blue, we're gonna
wait.
watch purple. And I don't know
Is that-
why,
is
but
that-
it was just funny.
No, is that the Sonic game that's like in the city where it's like fully 3D?
It's the one that is comically known for being bad.
Is it that one? The one I'm talking about?
It's the
Or
one
is that, or is that wait?
it's the one that the girl kisses a dead Sonic to bring
But
him back to life.
it's all like 3D. You're in a city.
It is
like,
3D.
Yeah.
There's also a
Okay.
scene where you're getting chased by a giant truck.
There's also, Silver goes back in time to try to
Yep.
save the universe or whatever.
You mean
Yes.
Trunks? I mean Silver.
So, but I'm gonna point out that is one of the 2 Sonic games I've ever played, and that is by far my favorite.
Well, yeah, because
Sonic
it's so
06?
dumb.
No, Sonic 06 is the best Sonic game ever. That's my hill to die on. There,
That's a good one.
That's a fucking hot take and a half. Good
I-
God.
Honestly, I still think Unleashed is the best Sonic game we've had in a very long time.
Oh
What's
fuck, we all got
isn't the
different
story?
things.
Isn't the story of Sonic like I'm gonna go like Dr. Robotnik?
Roger Robotnik.
Roger Robotnik.
Roger.
has taken-
My
has
name's
taken-
Roger.
Exactly.
I want to get you, Hedgehog.
Jim Carrey is like kidnapping a whole bunch of forest animals, and Sonic's like, with the power of speed, I'm gonna get
You're
'em."
thinking of like the actual animated show with
No,
fucking
isn't that like, isn't the
Grounder.
whole story is literally
No.
like I'm gonna go save some
He's-
some
He is literally just trying to take over the world in almost every
It's
game.
crazy how the fucking series I have the most faith in when it comes to recent movies is Sonic the Hedgehog.
They have been not missing. It's crazy.
Genuinely, it's impressive.
Well, I think the problem is for that game is not a lot of people care.
Well, I think a lot of people care.
A lot
That's
of
why
people
they had to
care.
rewrite
No.
the whole movie.
No, people who play the game care. People who don't play the game, I've never seen a Sonic movie, but I don't care to see a Sonic movie. My brother's never seen a Sonic movie. He doesn't care to see a Sonic movie. You two are the only people that I've met that have watched a Sonic movie, and you talk about it. So it's like most
You've never
normal
seen
people,
the Sonic movie is such a baffling thing.
I don't care to watch. I've never, like I said, I've only ever played 2 Sonic games. The first one in 06, apparently. That's it.
I have probably played also only 2 Sonic games. And I went to see the movie. You wanna know why, though? I didn't do it because it was a Sonic movie. I went to do it to support the people who decided to actually be not like every normal movie dev maker person fucking dumbass, where they're just like, you know what, maybe your opinion's wrong and ours is perfect. No, they saw their mistake. People were fucking screaming at them that the mistake was bad, and they were like, fine, you know what? We'll backtrack it, we'll fix it. And I was like, because of this decision, I will watch the movie. Because that is something we need to support more in movies, is the producers actually listening to fans. Which they did. And it's so good. And I really fucking hope that they do that with the Minecraft movie. Because, oh my god. It looks like a Spy Kids movie.
I can actually transition us to that one. With a hot take, I'm excited for the Minecraft movie.
I'm excited for it. I'm just gonna hate it.
Black in it, doesn't it? So it's probably gonna be garbage.
All the video game movies don't have to be like lore heavy and all that.
No, that's
it looks like a shitty live action YouTube poop, and I'm here for it. It looks like it's gonna be one of those movies that's so bad that it's good.
That's probably what it's going to be.
No, but what I'm getting to with Sonic is I don't think that Sonic has the draw for people, for normal everyday people. It is specifically marketed towards the people who care about Sonic, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, no. In this case, it's actually a really good thing.
That realm. So it's like
it is the same thing for a current Dragon Ball.
I know, but I'm saying, like, but that's not like the Fallout TV show doesn't have that problem. Anybody cares about Fallout. Fuck it, somebody who's never even played the games, never even heard of Bethesda, is like, holy shit, people are really liking this Amazon show. I'll watch it.
You could pretty much say the same thing about the One Piece Netflix adaptation. People love that. Even people who watch
One Piece. There's an adaptation of live action for One Piece.
What rock have you been living under? Holy shit! I
don't watch One Piece, so I don't.
You don't have to. It was all over the internet. It was more talked about than Big Chungus.
I didn't. I
Holy
was a different form of the internet, but
no,
I was always here.
I have seen so many people be like, I've never seen One Piece. I watched this. It's really good. I'll watch One Piece now. That's baffling. You've not even seen the show, or like not even seen it, not even heard of it.
I don't watch Netflix either, so I guess that's probably. I watch other streaming services.
That makes a little bit more sense. But whoa.
Yeah, it's like so. And I also come to the belief that anytime, anime's a bit different. Even that, anime and games, whenever they're transitioned to live action movies, because you're saying a show, right? Or is that a movie?
Yeah, they made it a show. Multiple seasons,
not a movie,
or multiple episodes.
Okay, good. If it is a movie, it's going to be bad. There has, maybe besides Sonic being the exception, there's never been a good
Mario,
live action.
Pokemon. That's 3 right now.
More than Mario. Wrong.
Mario sorry, not live action. Not live action.
I said live action.
You said it after I was listing them, so that's why that one didn't count.
Well, live action has never been good, and there's really maybe the one example, but most people.
Well, again, I was gonna say the Pokemon Detective Pikachu movie was really fucking good. The Sonic movie was really fucking good.
I mean, I'll give you the. I didn't watch the Sonic movie, but I'll get the.
I've never watched this movie I'm about to say, but I've heard that it's really good, which is the Mortal Kombat movie that came back a while back.
Oh no, it's fucking garbage.
I heard a lot of people liked it. That's what I've heard.
No, okay, I'll give you this. I'll give them this. It's not bad as far as choreography. It's cool, but it's not a Mortal Kombat movie. None of it is Mortal Kombat. In fact, the Mortal Kombat tournament doesn't even happen. Like, it is not by any means. You have the characters, but that's it. None of it is the same. So, like, just to reel it fully in, it does do the origin story for Scorpion. It does. Yeah. Clap for you. Everyone else is wrong. Everyone else is completely incorrect. Not to mention, so in the movie, when the Lin Kuei attack, which it wasn't really the Lin Kuei in the original, but whatever, they were disguised as Lin Kuei, but in this it actually was the real Lin Kuei. But when the Lin Kuei attack the Shirai Ryu and kill Scorpion, the original guy, and his family, he only has a wife and a daughter. So you might be thinking, oh shit, they're gonna keep the daughter alive and she's gonna become this character. No, they just add a random son in there. The daughter still dies. They just add a son, and the son lives, and he becomes the main character of this movie. And it's like, in a modern world, you had a very easy way to make a female main character badass, and you went, no, implement a male that's not actually there. It's like, it's a little weird, but fine, whatever, fine. You added a character. I don't care. Then you gave him the worst superpower ever, which was the power of Aquaman, but without the fish. That's actually what he is. He can't talk to fish, but you know how Aquaman has like that shield that comes over his chest? That's all he got.
Not really. I barely know anything about Aquaman.
Okay, well, Aquaman has like this shield. You know that like yellow.
Does he just control
thing
water?
That he has? No. The thing that he has is a chest plate. He summons a chest plate at will. That's all he does. It's not very good. It's really weird, and it has nothing to do with there's no magic or anything like that in the entirety of the games. And you're like, whatever, fine. I can get over one bad character, except for the fact that he's the main character. But then, like I said, all of the characters are just wrong. Johnny Cage, I don't think he's even in the movie. That motherfucker's like the main character of the whole series, essentially. The whole, like, for some reason, they, they being the, I'm trying to think of the full name. I don't know, the monks. I forget their name on top of my head. But the monks live underground in a cave for some reason, instead of in a massive temple like they actually exist in.
This is giving me vibes of, like, the original Avatar Last Airbender movie. So remember that, where the Fire Nation was in a plains for some reason?
No, but it's like there are some stuff like that where it's like it just makes no sense, because even like, sure, maybe don't rip straight from the game, fine.
I would prefer a video game adaptation ripped from the game.
I would prefer that, but I'm like, even if you're not going to, fine, but don't make it so opposite that it's clear that you just wanted to capitalize on the name alone.
Yeah,
like that's what it is. At least the Fallout series had Fallout things in it.
This is true.
I'm not asking you to have one. The main villain was Sub-Zero, even though Sub-Zero's a good guy. Whatever. You know, all of the villains weren't even there. One of them was, but do they fight him? No. It's like, they were trying to set up a sequel by being like, oh, and then the sequel never came out because the movie sucked.
That's funny.
So it's like, it's especially at a point where Mortal Kombat was at its most popular since the 90s. It's like it was exploding again. Mortal Kombat 11 was massive, and they released this movie alongside of it, and it had nothing to do with anything in the games. And as somebody who loves those games and has played them since childhood, it was so aggravating. It was like they did a Legend of Zelda movie, but like it was like the fucking meme where it's gonna be Spider-Man with Tom Holland and, you know, Zendaya is Zelda.
Yeah.
And you're like, but and for some reason her character's completely different, and Link talks all the time, and it's like, this isn't even the same
princess.
Universe.
I don't need that twice.
Exactly. Where it's like,
sorry.
Come on. No, that's it.
Okay.
They just put that as an after-credit scene to the Zelda movie. Just the actor going, "Excuse me."
You know, honestly, I'd be fine with that if they did that. At the end of the movie, Link just goes up to Ganon and he's just like, "Well, excuse me."
I would say this. I know you wouldn't like it, but if you're going to make a Legend of Zelda movie, one, it should be animated. Two, if you're gonna do it anyway, you have to get a voice actor for Link. Link has to talk.
Okay.
Because a movie...
You are hitting one of Cody's biggest hot takes.
But here's the thing. A movie is not a video game. Because in the video game, you are Link. But in a movie, you cannot be Link. Therefore, Link has to be his own character, so he has to talk.
So here's my new hill to die on. This is probably going to replace my other one, because this is really good. If they make a Zelda movie, there better be no goddamn word spoken in that entire damn movie. I
You
want
it to
a
be the most
silent
bland,
movie.
boring movie
No,
ever.
I want it to be a silent movie based only on actions. I want to experience it as if I am just
There's no plot.
observing.
There's no plot.
No,
It's
you can
just
get plot
action.
through actions. Actions
can.
speak louder than words. Is that not why
That's
that
not
phrase
true.
exists?
Not in films. That's more for like.
No, in
real-life
films
shit.
it does as well.
It does.
There have been silent like shows or movies, and they've been good. And,
No,
and,
I
and-
understand the concept of showing, not telling, but you gotta fucking tell at some point.
no, you can have like they can do sound effects like huh, grunting and all that shit. But like I do not want him or anyone to speak because I want it to feel like an art piece. I want it to make sense in the sense of just like how Link himself works.
Okay, but if nobody talks in this entire movie, why is he fighting?
Well,
me
because the
No one
reason
talks.
is yes, no one talks. No one needs
You can't
to.
introduce anything.
Yes, you can.
You
You can do
physically
through
introduce
context
anything.
clues. You could
Context.
literally do that. Okay. So I'll break it down, right?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So you can easily and this is just an example, right? This isn't this. Like you could easily show what he has to do or what someone has to. Let's do this like this,
Yeah.
like Western movie, right?
Yeah.
You show Western. You show this guy with a shiny bat. You can immediately tell that's the sheriff. You show him and another dude looking at a wanted poster. You now recognize that's an enemy. That's someone they're looking after.
But why is it an enemy?
They can show that through other things, like flashbacks of moments of like stuff they've walked in on. And you can
Okay,
piece things together. It could
Okay.
be a situation where it's like, in the sense of this, like this cowboy theme.
I'm trying to think of the most like epic thing ever, the most artistic movie, and it makes me think Lord of the Rings. And I'm like, okay, what if in the intro they had no narration and they just showed the rings, showed Mount Doom, and you're like, here's the hobbits. None of the hobbits speak, so you don't know any of their
Well,
personalities.
no,
you don't
the thing
care
is,
for any of them.
you're thinking of
Frodo's
just
carrying
removing the
ring.
words from a pre-existing movie. I want a movie that's based around the idea of not talking. So they would base how the choreography and everything works
you're also
around
talking
that.
about- But in a game series where everyone but him talks, so that also
Yes.
doesn't make sense.
Well, no, because for me, I want it to feel more like an art piece. I want it to be a bit more visually emotional than verbally.
I would
For
say,
me, I
thank
would love
God
that
you
a
don't
lot.
make movies.
I think that would be great.
I think it'd be a great YouTube, like a short film on YouTube, like a student film.
If it was an actual Hollywood movie, I
It'd
could
be
definitely see
god-awful.
Link not talking, except for like a voice
I
actor that has
definitely,
been
I will say, if they
grunting
do a
and,
Zelda
all
movie,
that.
I definitely do not want him talking. They better not
But
make him say
everybody
a word.
else would be talking.
I think
If-
the problem
if
is
they're doing it by
we're
the
not
video
thinking-
games, yes, that's how it would
thinking
be.
of is that Link doesn't not talk in the games. He does talk. The reason why he doesn't speak in the games is because they want your voice to be his voice, so it's more interactive.
Well, they
Or in
actually
a movie,
explain
you
in
just
Breath of the Wild and
talk.
kind of Tears of the Kingdom. They actually explain why he doesn't talk.
Well, I know,
And
I know
it's
in
a
that game they do.
self-put like barrier he does, just so that like
But even
his
that's
emotions
wrong
do not
because
get the
he
better
says
of him.
yes and no to people, so he
Well, yeah.
does talk.
Well, he doesn't
canonically,
have to.
even
Okay,
in those
so
games.
again, yes or no. That could just be nodding over the head, right?
I mean, yes, but there are dialogue options in that game, aren't there?
There are.
Which means he talks.
What
Seeing
if-
text on screen that's from him means he is speaking.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying he
So
doesn't
he
actually talk, but
talks.
he doesn't legitimately talk in the game though. He could
He's
be
not a voice
no.
actor, but he does
It
talk.
could be a situation of one mouthing the words, because
Okay.
maybe people just know that in the Zelda universe. We don't know. It could also just be a situation of sign language, because he actually, in a lot of the situations where he talks, he does a lot of hand gesturing, but he doesn't
That's
do any
fair.
like the actual sign languages. I
It's the
actually
same
would
thing
kind
with,
of
like-
prefer him to do sign language. I think that would be really
Maybe.
cool.
I think that'd be very hectic with the whole, fighting.
Yeah.
But
Because
otherwise-
isn't the main reason he talks to not show emotion?
Yes. The reason he doesn't talk is so that he can hide his emotions, so they
No, I
do not
get
burden
that.
him.
But I would say the counter, to that would be if you were watching, or to that, Fallout. It just came to mind because we're talking about Fallout before. In Fallout, at least until 4, you were a silent protagonist because you, the person playing, were speaking. The character still speaks, but he doesn't have a voice actor because you are the voice actor. It's the same thing in the Legend of Zelda games. Link does speak, but you are the one speaking for him, so it doesn't need to be voiced. In a movie, you are not speaking for him, so he needs to have a voice actor to speak.
No.
Even if he's mostly silent, he still needs to conversate, or else literally no one would care about him.
I think that's
wrong. They would care about Zelda. They would care about the other people who do talk.
I don't think he needs to speak at all, because he can do plenty of action-based things to fill in the blank, which I think would be better for him in this case.
I'm thinking like the Master Chief, where in the original games he doesn't speak a lot, but he very occasionally does.
Very short phrases
and
stuff.
That's what you should do with Link.
I would probably be fine with that if it's very
talk.
stiff, very short speaking. Kind of like what
that would work.
I think the best example of that actually instead of Master Chief would probably be Doom Guy. Because Doom Guy barely ever speaks, and when he does, it's like these very short sentences that are just like to the point.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite quotes of Doom Guy is the final fucking fight in Eternals, where he's fighting the literal god of the universe, of like his specific universe, and he's just like, "Do you have no respect for your creator?" And he just looks at him and goes, "No," and then kills him. It's like the first time you hear him legitimately speak in a very long time, and that's the first thing he fucking says. He doesn't give a shit. I love that, but no, I would be more fine with that.
I didn't play Doom Eternal, so I would say like like a more early Master Chief, specifically 343 took over and made him talk all the time.
He does. But in my own thing, when it comes to Link, I find that he is definitely more of an action speaking louder than words. And I will state something real fast, because I didn't want to interrupt you when you were talking, but you said in Legend of Zelda he always talks. In most Legend of Zelda games, he has someone talk for him actually. And I can give many examples. Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, the fairy talks to him. In Twilight Princess, Midna talks for him. In Skyward Sword, Fi talks for him. He has a lot of people talk for him in most of these games.
Well, that's fair.
Though I definitely do not want that in the movie, because I do not need Navi being like, "Hey, he thinks this," and he's just in there just like looking over like a stern face, just like, "What the fuck?"
Exactly, like that would not translate to a movie, even if it works in a game.
But
so it's like I think that's where some disconnect happens. Is like
definitely.
I think that having Metro, a game I'm playing through, would be an excellent movie. I don't think they'd make it because of the political unrest they would cause. Okay. But I think they make an excellent show or movie, but it would never get made. Like, one of the issues would be that Artyom is a mostly silent protagonist. He does talk, but in the game, he talks between missions, like in a diary, but that's the only time you hear his voice. But in the game, people will talk to him, he will respond silently, you do not hear what he says, and then people will answer him as if he's saying something, but you don't hear what he says. So he's only silent to you, the player, which is a really weird and kind of cool concept of it just like expects you to fill in the gaps of what he's trying to say. Because, like I said, other people actively respond to him. So maybe, but that would never translate to a movie. It could never. You would have to have him actually speak.
Again, I will say I do not think that is true, because there are a lot of things he could, like, so in a situation, in most cases, Link does not like to hold conversations, just flat out.
Yeah.
He will almost always avoid a full conversation, or he will specifically speed things up through, like, hand gestures to be like, get to the point.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's not impatient, or
I know, no, like what I'm saying is
John 117.
In the case of a Zelda movie, I would kind of prefer him to be very much like his body language speaks for him. Because in all of the Zelda games, he never speaks an actual word.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, okay, to break it down first, plot-wise, if you're going to make a movie, you have to make it a love story, or no one would care. A larger audience.
No, you don't.
As a larger audience, people would not care. You're not going to get people in Los Angeles who's never even heard of Legend of Zelda to care about Link unless there's Zelda.
This is why I think that you shouldn't give a shit about what everybody thinks. You need to make stuff for what just a general community would like.
But then you'd never make money on movies. That's why they don't do that.
Well, no, the Sonic movie is a great example of that, though. It's doing amazingly because the Sonic fans are enjoying it. It's made more money than fucking what was that? What the fuck was that movie called? It was Suicide Squad. It made more money than Suicide Squad.
Well, no, Squad was doomed from the start.
It was, but like remember, they spent a lot fucking more money on Suicide Squad and a lot more like advertising than Sonic did. Sonic didn't need that because the fans had their back because they, proved that if you talk to your fans and work with them, you will get a good product, and thus the fans will follow.
That they actually got good people in the project.
Yeah.
That too, but also, like a little tiny, a little indie movie called Deadpool and Wolverine kind of comes over and stomps on that fire, being like, no, you do need to appeal to a larger audience because that's how you make the most amount of money.
Nope. I'll be right back.
Obviously.
Well, I mean, even Deadpool and Wolverine, like, I still liked the movie, but like it played to a lot of people that have been following Marvel for a long time, so I didn't get a lot of the references because I don't do that. I still enjoy the movie though because of the jokes that Ryan Reynolds has, and just because I kind of like Ryan Reynolds when he does stuff.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is like even though you don't follow those franchises, you could still enjoy the movie because there's other things that are there for you to like.
Exactly.
If you don't care about Legend of Zelda games and you've never seen them, like if you're some LA girl who doesn't even game, seeing Legend of Zelda, you'd be like, oh, what is that? They go, oh, it's a movie based off of a game. You're like, eh. But they go, but it's the classic warrior and a princess. She's not just like, Mary. She's a little bit more of a Mary Sue, I guess you'd say. She can defend herself. She's not just like there. She's not like Peach. She's not like, oh, I need to be saved. And they save the world together, and it's they get in this that classic love story. They're like, oh, sign me up. Like, you can get people to care by referencing other medias. That's, by the way, it's already there. It's insinuated pretty heavily, even if it doesn't happen. So for a movie's sake, you would just do it.
And that's why I was saying that, like, I don't think he should be silent, but I don't think he should talk a lot. No way.
No, he shouldn't talk a lot.
I hope to God they do not make him like a talky mouth fucking, excuse me, princess character. No. That wasn't what I was thinking. But he does need to speak, or people will not care. Besides the I will disagree, but I will continue.
We've seen it happen in so many other instances.
I also gotta ask though,
because
we have been on this one for a little bit. What else did we need to talk about?
Well, actually, I don't think Kiwi's legitimately gotten any of his Hills Down out yet. I
never went to.
Yes.
I think we'll put the Zelda one together because it's just going in circles at this point.
It is. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll let you go on now because I'm sure you have ones that are probably good too.
I got a few. I guess one thing we could really stand on is, besides their lack of production, pound for pound, Valve is the best. I don't know if this is a huge hill to die on, but Valve is the best gaming. I guess, gaming developer
company
ever.
Developer
ever.
I don't think
no one's
that's
even in their
true.
same class. Like, they are the GOAT of game development.
I don't think that's true. And
who's on their scale?
Well, obviously Nintendo easily. They overdo them by a mile.
Do
but
they?
Yes.
I would
easily.
say Sega's
not even close. if you look at anything else, Nintendo has way better sales on everything. But no,
they're marketing towards kids, so they don't have the same audience.
They have games that aren't just for kids. A great example will probably be Tears of the Kingdom. That game sold so much fucking copies. But
yes,
no, what I
marketed towards kids.
No, it's
so,
not.
Yeah, it is, but
it's not a kids game.
Whether it's a kids game or not, it's marketed towards kids. Call of Duty is not a kids game, but it's marketed towards kids. It's not really the same thing here.
It's marketed as a video game.
What? What are you talking about?
It's marketed to be playable by all. That is literally what Tears of the Kingdom was. That is why it is, and I kid you not, it's why there is not that much of a connection to Breath of the Wild, because they do not want people who have not played the previous games. No, sorry, I don't think I said that right. What they wanted is for people not to have to play those previous games. They wanted people to just join in on the game.
Yeah.
They didn't want them to feel like they needed 1,000 hours of other gameplay to be able to join this. It is a game that is meant for all over. Not just kids, just everyone.
Yes, but, kids are a very large part of that. Where
Can I ask you something,
doesn't
then?
do that. Go for it.
If they're the big market, then how old were you when you played Valve games?
Well, here's the difference. I have a brother who's 5 years older than me, so every game that he got, I played. When he got
I also
GTA,
had that
I played
situation.
GTA.
That's
So
how
it's
I
not
got into
marketed
Zelda.
Towards me, it's not for me, but that's how I, got into those kinds of things. Yeah. Left 4 Dead's a kind of the weakest example of it, but even that game, by no means, was marketed towards kids.
I'm just kind of confused on the example that you're trying to make here.
I don't know what's so confusing about it.
No, I'm talking to Cody.
What? No, I'm confused with what you mean.
I don't know what the point you're trying to make is.
With
He's
what?
trying to say that it's E for everyone, which is literally the point that I'm making, is that it's E for everyone.
Yeah, when it's marketed just to children, it would be like fucking... I don't know what the words I'm looking for, but they're not coming to mind.
Literally what you said was what I said. It's also marketed towards kids. No, it's also marketed towards kids. It's like, that's what I said.
Well, it's not just kids. It's literally everyone.
I'm saying
you're saying that
also
it was
marketed towards kids. In addition to everyone else that plays Legend of Zelda, it was also marketed towards children because that's Nintendo's main audience. Valve does not make games for kids. That is the difference.
Okay, that's the part I wasn't catching that last bit where you're specifically saying they do not make it for kids, just flat out.
Like if you gave a kid Half-Life, they might think it's fun, but they could not conceive Half-Life. They would not understand Half-Life. I can set a 13-year-old girl in front of Legend of Zelda, and she could basically understand the Tears of the Kingdom. She could grasp most of it.
Okay, one little thing that I do want to ask. With this in mind, what makes Valve better than, say, Nintendo?
What I'm saying is maybe with a ultra rare example. If any game that you would normally think of from Valve, why does the community as a large, from the gaming community, all of them consider them masterpieces? They rarely miss. They have missed, but it is so rare, especially for a company of their style, that they almost can't, the huge meme of they don't count the 3 or they don't make sequels to popular games. The reason that they don't do it is because they don't think they can outshine themselves. That's how good they are. Is that they're afraid that people will no longer view them in that light if they keep making games. Because they could easily cash cow fucking anything. If they just announced, Half-Life 3 tomorrow, that's already 5 million pre-orders right then and there on the spot. It's not that they can't make money. They just don't think that they could make a game good enough to warrant that amount of success. They have the exact opposite problem as someone like Activision, who are trying to chase success. They already got it. The moment they announce a game, it's the most popular game on the market. Now they have to live up to that standard they've already set for themselves. And that is what sets them apart from everyone else. Now, Nintendo is probably the closest to that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Nintendo is probably the closest to that, but
I'd say specifically probably with their, and this is my perspective, but specifically with their Zelda games, I do feel like that's the same situation. Most of their Zelda games never miss. I don't think I've heard of a bad Zelda game, except for the ones that were not made by Nintendo.
Well, what was Mishcap made by?
What was the what?
Whatever it's called. The one that you were playing.
That was made by, that was a good game.
Eh.
I've been playing it. It was fun.
Well, you play it, but you play all of them.
Well, no, I don't. No, I'm going to play all of them.
I think this problem we're both getting into is that people outside of the realm of each may not care.
Well, yeah, you're going to have that bias that exists.
That is true, but I would say that Valve games, as far as a gaming market now, obviously they own Steam, so that's a little bit more.
I think that's their biggest win so far, personally. Even though their games are amazing, I think Steam is their best creation.
Well, we're not arguing if Steam is the greatest creation. What I'm saying is, as a entity within the gaming sphere, they have made games that are not meant for everyone that become for everyone and have lasted so long. Like, as absolutely loved as the older Zelda games are, as Majora's Mask, let's say, because it's one of the more popular ones, as absolutely loved as that game is, it does not have as many active players as Left 4 Dead 2 has, as Counter-Strike has, as Half-Life 2 in particular has, like Team Fortress 2. Like, it doesn't have the carry weight that those games have had for so long.
What I will say is most of the games you just listed are games that are meant to be replayed.
But that's
Counter-Strike, the other one aren't.
Yeah, who do you blame for that? Like,
well, that's the thing. That's that specific genre of game. Yeah. The Zelda games are meant to be effectively you have just a few runs.
Yeah, well,
you have your first run, and then you have the like the run where you try to get everything, and then you just have the goof run. You're generally looking like 3 runs of those games. No, but with Counter-Strike, TF2, and all those, you constantly come back to the game because that's what they're designed to do.
Yes.
However, that's not a folly on Nintendo.
Because Nintendo's kind of in their own bubble, because if you're going for Nintendo, you have to go for Nintendo. Like, I can't log on to Steam and play a Nintendo game. The only way you're gonna play a Nintendo game is on Nintendo stuff. So they're kind of in their own ecosystem, which is smart and it's worked for them. But Valve is competing against so many more people because of that on their own platform. Activision is still actively competing with them on Steam, so it's like that's a little bit different. Activision isn't directly competing with Nintendo; they are competing, but not directly because they're not on the Nintendo market.
Yeah,
not always. Some of it is, but not always. The Nintendo Switch has allowed a lot of people into their ecosystem, which is good for them, and I think good for gaming.
It's because they have a lot of people that they're designed to always bring you back. It's because that makes it a better community when it comes to Valve and Steam games too.
Yeah. And like what I'm saying, like, even now, because we played Left 4 Dead 2 and I had a lot of fun, so I'm looking at it. Left 4 Dead 2. Okay, let's put it this way. Right now, Helldivers 2 is averaging 40,000 players every single day throughout all 4 major through PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Which is 40,000 people for that kind of game.
And it would be more if it wasn't for Sony.
Yeah.
It would. Admittedly, it would be a lot more. However, that is what they're averaging. It's not a bad game. It's a pretty good game, actually. But they're averaging 40,000, which is not too much to a slouch. And that game came out this year, which is crazy to think about. So much has happened in that year. But it came out this year. Left 4 Dead 2 has 27,000 people playing it per day, and it came out not 20 years ago, but nearly 20 years ago. Definitely over 15. So, the Valve games are special in the way that they're not only just masterpieces. Even though you say that they're meant to be replayable, which they are, admittedly, they keep up with the times, and half the time Valve doesn't even touch them. Back 4 Blood should have blown Left 4 Dead out of the water, yet it sunk because it couldn't compete with a 15-year-old game. That's how good Left 4 Dead 2 is. It outcompetes brand new games without even trying. It sunk the whole genre because nothing could be better than that. That's what Valve does. And that's what makes them special.
I do agree that they do make very nostalgia-heavy games.
They
that people don't want to leave
an
from.
Entire new gaming company because they couldn't keep up with a 15-year-old game that Valve made.
I would love to see anybody argue that point, because I don't think you could.
That one's a really good argument.
I'm not saying that Nintendo isn't absolutely special in their regard.
I'm
saying Nintendo is in their own special place that they've built from themselves, which is smart.
Yeah.
Like they're very hyper intelligent and they know exactly what they do and they're very meticulous with it. So I'm not taking anything away from Nintendo.
Yeah, no.
But I'm saying as a creator in a broader world, with as many people as they let in because of Steam. They're not on their own island. Everyone is welcome. They're competing with everybody. Activision to Toby Fox. They're competing with everybody, and they consistently blow everyone out of the water with 15-year-old games because they can't compete with old Valve.
Something I will say that I do think is a negative to Valve is I do not think they listen to the community as much as people wish they did. And
Yeah,
the
but in
greatest
what
example
ways?
is TF2.
No, they did
Their
listen
their
eventually.
entire community was begging for years for them to do stuff with it, to
They
update
did
it.
though.
To how long did that take?
It took a while, but they did.
Yeah,
do it.
exactly. No, you can't argue that point there, buddy.
No, I wasn't arguing it. I'm
But
saying that they
no,
did
like
do something.
that's
It
what
took
I
a long
mean,
time.
though. In this case, they took too long. I feel like,
That's
and
true.
for me, that's my biggest issue with them. Whereas in the sense of Nintendo, they almost always listen. The only time they
Well,
don't is when you're trying to
well-
use their products for something else.
No, that's fair. And now, when people are like, "Hey, maybe put your games on literally anything else," they're like, "I'm gonna actually come to your house and kill you."
Yeah. They do
so-
not like their products being moved where it shouldn't. That's their biggest shtick.
No, they don't like their products being moved where they should be.
They keep their products gated off.
Yeah, they
That-
do.
I think
They do.
that is personally, I think that is one of Nintendo's biggest sins.
You know, if we were gonna go to a slight off topic,
Yeah.
I would say to like very twist it slightly. If you're gonna say top 3 as far as gaming companies like that, definitely those top two. Whatever
I
order
definitely
you may
think
or may not want to put them
those
in.
two are
Those two top
easily
two.
the tops.
I would like to argue for third
Who would
place.
be third?
Ironically, Capcom.
Honestly,
A
yeah.
gaming company that nearly went under 7 years ago now, whenever fucking Resident Evil 7 came out. They nearly went under. I would say pound for pound, they should be third.
I would argue them or Square Enix.
I would
That's
argue them
fair.
or Sega.
But Sega, like,
They've had a
What is Sega
really
doing?
bad video game streak.
you know, like they have high
They may have had a
highs, but they
really
have
bad-
low lows.
Yeah.
They may have had a bad streak, but they do have a good streak when it comes to community interactions.
That's fair.
They do. I will give them that. But purely in the sense of quality, I do think Square Enix and I do think Capcom have the best of that. They have the best of both worlds. Their community and their quality is really fucking good.
My main argument for Capcom versus someone like Square Enix, who is elite. I'm not
Yeah,
taking
no.
it to definitely top 5 for Square Enix, but and a lot of other ones that I think could very be combative for that spot. But what sets Capcom apart, in my opinion, and this is not including indie game developers, so
Mhm.
these are AAA titles only,
AAA gamers.
Exactly.
Gamers.
which is, I mean, that's the thing. But even still,
I'm a triple S game.
I've never seen any game company that was that big that when Village came out, right?
Mhm.
A year later, they were starting to do the release of Resident Evil 4. This is actually less than a year later. I think 9 months after, they were starting to do the press release for Resident Evil 4. And right before that, they were going to release the DLC that was the Winter's expansion that came out for Resident Evil 8. When they went to launch the DLC, they lowered the price of the original game to $40 from $60, and the game hadn't even been out for a year yet. Mind you, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare,
Oh,
the
God,
original,
yeah.
is still $20 on Steam, and the map packs are $50 each.
And that's another peg for Nintendo as well. They don't fucking lower their prices for shit.
Yes, and Valve,
Hold
I mean
on.
Valve,
They definitely do.
during
They're-
holidays,
they're always
they
doing
do
shit.
99% off, so
Yeah.
they're
I
they
mean-
make sure everyone has their games, which is smart.
We're talking about like the best game developers, but if we were to go to the flip side of that and talk about the worst ones, we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Activision 100%.
Activision or what are they fucking called? It's the guys who made Sims.
Electronic Arts.
Yeah. Fuck them,
Yeah.
actually.
No, wait. Courtroom sound again. We're coming back. In the defense of EA.
Oh no.
Recently, they have been on fire.
Have they?
they tore down the house, genuinely. So I know you guys aren't into sports, but I am. College football, which people have been begging for.
Hold on, I need to throw up in a corner. All right, I'm back.
So, okay, for the audience, college football and Madden have not seen real updates besides rosters in like 10 years. People have been asking, hey, please change the game. Hey, please change the game. Make it something new, something cool. And finally, they had this changing of the guard. EA not only listened, but they did it. They went so far beyond expectations that I'm almost afraid of what they have to do now, because it's so good, so loved. Hey, hell, to put it this way, college football was the #1 sold game on Steam for like 3 weeks. That's how good it was, and it was genuinely good. Like, genuinely so good. It also helped a lot of kids get a lot of money in college, which, is also good.
Yeah.
It helped, it helps kids, like real people get helped from this. So it was the right decision. It was the right timing, and they actually tried. Now, there are definitely things I will never forgive EA for. Killing Star Wars, the gaming industry. Besides besides Fallen Order and Survivor, they did do those pretty well, but mostly they outsourced those, so that's probably why. But Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, god awful.
Those were
and a
murdered.
few of the other ones. Yeah, they were murdered. They were taken out back and shot in the sternum 18 times and then in the face. So I'm not saying that they don't have an absolutely terrible track record, but recently, they've been all right.
Here's what I will say, and this to me is the most unforgivable. Back in the day when I used to play Sims games, I thought Sims 3 was the best. And then I heard of Sims 4. And I was like, I want to play Sims 4. Sims 3 was so fun. I go to look at Sims 4. It's pretty expensive. It's what you would expect. I was like, okay.
Expansion pack.
Pack.
And
then I look into what actually makes that game good. You get, it's like $200 for the full game and all the DLC and shit like that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, it's not a lot that they give you in these packs. It's very little. It's like you just get like a few little items and you spend a lot of money on doing that. That's not fun. No one likes that. There are some games that do like this DLC that I'm fine with because they add a lot. The greatest example to me is Ark Survival Evolved. Every time they give you a DLC, not only do you get a full-ass map that has a bunch of new creatures in it, but you get an entirely new segment of the story that exists.
I don't think
you don't need the story. What'd you say?
I don't think an ass map would look very good.
I mean, technically speaking, it probably already does. I mean, well, I guess it doesn't look good. It is very pixelated.
How do you know it's Ark's least favorite map? It's called Skidmark.
That's funny. Okay, but in the sense of Ark, they add a fuck ton of content. Yeah. They do story shit. They do a bunch of new like mechanics. They'll do a bunch of new creatures. The maps have a bunch of cool details. There's so much shit they put into those maps, and that is what I prefer at a DLC. I do not prefer this like, what game is it? Is it Fortnite where it's like you buy like a little pack and all you get is some cosmetics?
No, you buy.
What game am I thinking of?
You buy battle passes and then you can earn them.
I can't remember. There was this game that was just that, right? You just bought cosmetics upon cosmetics, and they were all really expensive, but you barely got anything for it.
Overwatch 2?
Is that the game I'm thinking of?
No, Overwatch 2 isn't the exact same way. It's really bad, but it's not the exact same way.
Oh, you know what? No, I know what I'm thinking of. And I think I said it wrong. Diablo 4.
Oh, yeah, I didn't play that one. I didn't know that one.
That one had the worst buy shit system I've ever seen. And the reason is, you could spend like $200 on a bunch of shit to make your character really strong. That's fine and dandy. If you got to keep it.
Wait, what?
What?
I don't know if they fixed this. I imagine they did, because if they didn't, they would probably be sued to the high heavens. But you could pay a bunch of money, get a bunch of upgrades, and it would only be temporary. You would have to pay more money to keep the shit you got. It was a cash
Wow.
grab fucking shit.
You were leasing your weapons.
Yes. And when I heard that, like, I was excited for Diablo 4, and then I heard that, and I was just like, not touching that with a fucking 50-foot pole.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But anyways, any more hot takes, anybody?
I got one. If we want to go into a reverse order.
What's that?
You started talking. I started to forget about it.
I do that too.
Yeah, I do that a lot, especially during
Part of the
D&D.
ADHD problems.
Dude, I could fucking not with D&D last week. My brain was so fucked up. I
you know what's
couldn't
funny?
read the fucking intro. It was obscene.
It's funny. It's funny.
Probably didn't help that we were making tons of fireworks.
No, I wasn't paying attention to that. I was actually focusing on the screen.
Yeah, but on stream today, Emir talked about, like, oh, you just missed this thing. Like, it was because I'm playing through all the Resident Evil series. He's like, oh, you passed up this thing. You should probably go back and get that. And I looked at this chat and I go, what thing? Because he always says, like, thing. You missed that thing. So I'm like, I don't know what that... You got to give me more description than that. I don't know what this thing is. Then he goes, well, you were just looking at it. I go, buddy, that was 30 seconds ago. I have ADHD. I don't remember what that is.
Yeah.
So, you gotta give me more than that.
Gotta help me out here.
In the past, I don't remember that shit.
To quote a really funny quote, I'm a little retarded. You gotta help me out here.
Yeah.
And canceled. Goodbye, everyone.
Woo!
It'll get bleeped in the final product. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
If I remember.
Oh God.
But
I don't remember.
Okay, I got one, and this is definitely more of a me thing because I don't have this much of an issue with it. I do not think too many episodes is a bad thing. I think if a show has a lot of episodes and it's compelling enough to continue watching, it shouldn't be considered a bad thing. The great example of this, obviously, is One Piece for me, because it's a fucking good show,
Well,
and if you keep watching it, it just gets better.
That's what you're saying is not what you mean. So
no,
you're
that
saying
is
one thing but giving the description of another.
Okay, how so?
Too many episodes, usually in any context I've ever heard it, comes from the fact that they don't have enough story to go on for that many episodes, but they stretch it for time because they want to make money. Where you're saying One Piece has a continuous story that goes through all of the episodes. They can have filler, but they have a story that continues throughout all of them.
Well, the reason I say
similar
One
to
Piece
a
specifically
Dragon
is
Ball.
because a lot of people don't want to watch One Piece because they think there's too many episodes.
I wouldn't watch One Piece. I wouldn't watch One Piece for different reasons too.
I mean,
just
I've
don't care.
tried to watch One Piece many times. Granted, I never made it to apparently the best arc where it gets good Arlong part.
I hate that. I hate
That-
when people say that.
Well, no, that's just like a thing for every anime
It's
at
so
this
much
point.
better. I'm like, shut up. If it's not good in season 1, I don't care.
I don't
You
even
have to have a
know
good
if,
opening.
like-
You had the good opening.
I think One Piece has a pretty good opening. Cause maybe the first episode I think is just funny.
It
as
may or
fuck.
may
But
not
there
have
is
never watched
immediately
it.
a series I can think of that would immediately say that too many episodes is a bad thing, and that's SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh yeah.
Well, it doesn't
that
help that
needs
the
to go
actual
away.
creator died. So
Well, here you go. The Simpsons. Too many episodes. Family Guy. Too many episodes. American Dad. Too many episodes. You didn't get to South Park. Too many episodes. It's like you can only go on for so long before 20 years of content is like, oh, it's the same. It's either the same thing or it's so different from the original that you don't care anymore.
I mean, with a couple of those though, they do have some really good episode that gets people to come watch
Yeah.
those specific episodes.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Like fucking Family Guy with Lewis's scream in that one episode of fucking.
the fucking supersonic scream.
Yeah, no, she has an episode. The entire fucking plot of that episode is that Peter gets hypnotized whenever he hears the words extra, extra. And then a news thing comes on while he's over at their parents' house. So she walks in, sees Peter eating out her mom, and screams like a fucking banshee. The voice actor had a paycheck to get that day, good God.
Oh my god, I forgot.
But by the
about
way,
that
you
episode.
said
That's so
Lewis.
funny. Yeah, I saw
is
that too. I
Lois.
heard that too. Lewis.
Lois.
That
Lois.
is Lois.
Hey, Beta.
Lewis
Uh,
Lane, obviously.
Lewis.
You
Yeah, you
were
go.
Peter.
Well, it's also Lois Lane.
God damn it!
Wait, did you say Lois
He
Lane?
said Lewis Lane.
That is Lewis is a dude's name. Lois
It
a girl's
is.
name.
It's so funny. Aren't they spelled
In
the
Left
same
4 Dead-
too?
In Left 4 Dead 1, the black guy is Lewis.
Luis.
I'm gonna start calling him Lois every time we play.
There you go.
Peter.
I want to play through the entire series because it actually has a really good story.
Yeah. But I
Hopefully
definitely
don't
think
get banned for having a bad aim.
that's funny.
That is true.
I by the way, like, what were you aiming at if that's the case?
I got kicked because I had too much friendly fire.
What were you doing?
I'm feeling friendly fire.
I think you might need to
Who's
get out
aiming
of
at Spider-Man?
Kiwi's asshole next time you're shooting your zombie friends.
What's funny is it wasn't usually me. It usually was like Spider-Man or Kevin. I think it was mostly Spider-Man.
That's funny.
I forget the dude's name. He joined us mid-game.
But so I guess harkening back to what I was saying earlier with the too many episodes things, I guess the general consensus is it's not bad to have a lot of episodes as long as there's a story to go along with it.
Because there's also the
But
opposite.
if it is just meaningless jargon like what most episodes of like The Simpsons, Family Guy are nowadays,
Exactly.
it falls apart and becomes moot. But with
there's
like
also
stuff like One
the-
Piece, or I guess in this case, I haven't watched it, but Fairy Tail has apparently been making a lot of more episodes now.
Well, to give a
They actually have like
non-anime-
story and shit in that.
Well, to give a non-anime example, one that would be too many episodes. Something like The Walking Dead. It just kept going. It
Yeah.
just kept fucking going, and no one cared. No one cared. It's like you have cool moments, but besides those, who cared.
That's really funny.
For one that didn't have enough episodes, ironically, even though it went on for 10 seasons or 10 years, Game of Thrones didn't have enough episodes because they just shoved the story too quickly, and then everyone was like getting whiplash, like, holy hell, why is this all happening all at once? Slow it down. Holy fuck,
Yeah.
what? Everyone's here now. That took like an 8-month journey in 5 seconds. Okay, wow, we just skipped 3 years.
So-
What just happened?
So to sum it up, if you're gonna make a show that has a lot of episodes, make sure you stretch the story nicely across it.
Yeah,
Take
it's
it
about
at
pacing.
take it at the One Piece level. Like make every
Yeah.
episode feel like a day.
I'm saying pacing is
Yeah,
key
pacing's
to
very
anything.
important.
There's also the very special ones where knowing right when to end.
Yeah.
Gravity Falls to me is the best example of knowing when to end because that's what makes it so good. To this day, even I am guilty of being one of those people that was like, if I were anybody who was anybody, I would be like, Alex Hirsch, please, just make more, please.
They actually are
even I-
making
even-
another one.
They're not.
They are.
They're not.
They are.
Like, literally Alex Hirsch a week ago said that he would not make a third season. So
I have only
Incorrect.
heard they are making another Gravity Falls or continuing.
no, he made a new book and he's making another book after this. They're doing stuff in canon. They're not making a new series.
I'm looking
based
this
off
up
his-
because I have literally
that-
heard the opposite.
Unless they're doing it without Alex Hirsch, which would be fucked up.
I wouldn't
He
be
does- he
surprised. It's Disney.
Now Disney can make it. They do own the rights to it.
Yeah.
So they. But Alex Hirsch, has said that he would not. He would make a movie, but he would not make a third
Oh,
season.
I would love to see a Gravity Falls movie.
I would too. Yeah, he said that he originally envisioned 3 seasons. He was the one who chose to shorten it, not Disney.
I can make
And
y'all
then-
mad.
He
What?
said that he wanted to do that in a movie.
Wait. What do I get a best feeling you're gonna say?
You've never seen Gravity Falls.
I've never watched it.
You should.
Yeah.
That's
That
it.
one-
I'm not like no
that
like
one's good.
wow, you haven't watched it. What? We'll just watch it.
Yeah.
Whether you have Disney Plus or fucking online, 'cause Disney asshole. Watch it. It's really it's as much as I love, and I feel like we competitively love something like the original Teen Titans. Same kind of feel. Not the same style, obviously, but like the same feeling of holy shit, this is so good. Please make more. And then you're like, but it's also like you don't want there to be more because you don't want more to ruin the original. So, which is actually the reason Alex Hirsch gave of why he wouldn't do a next summer, which is what like the whole theme is he's actively said that anything that he makes from now on that's in the same realm, like, you know, a cartoon, it wouldn't work because people would always compare it to the original. There's too many years between the two. Where if he makes books in other media, people won't compare it directly because they're two different mediums.
Yeah. So what I will say, by the way, is because I did look it up, it definitely feels like it might be Disney pushing it more than he is, because from what I've been looking at, Disney is teasing at there being another season, but Hirsch he's just been like, I'm not making a third. So now I'm a little scared.
Yeah. No, he said that he would make 2 seasons in a movie, but he said he would not. He does not care to make a full 3rd season.
I think he said he'd also be fine with a spinoff, but I don't know if that's correct or not.
He did mention that he thought about doing spinoffs, but that
honestly, you know what I think would be really good?
What's that?
Is if they did a Gravity Falls prequel and they just showed either the adventures of, I think it's Stanford.
Yeah.
Stanford is Stanford the one that's in the portal?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. If they had Stanford and like you got to see what he was going on, I think that'd be cool. Or if they did Stanley's like build up, because they did like short spurt build ups. I would actually love to see how he got to where he was.
They do show that.
I know they show a lot of it, but it's in like these like short flashback scenes and stuff. I think that would be a good movie.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good movie. I would say the problem with that is they're not the twins. They are twins, but not the twins.
Yeah.
So, I think people would care, but people wouldn't care as much. Here, I've read all of the books, and they're pretty good. If you like Gravity Falls, you should read the books, even the new one.
I was walking around believe it or not, a Menards, and I saw one of their books, and I was surprised because I didn't know at the time they had books. I picked up and immediately read through the whole damn thing.
Yeah, no, it's genuinely really good.
It's really good. He's a genuinely good artist,
I
writer.
might have one more hot take I can talk about.
Oh, well, on the back of what we were just talking about, go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
No, sorry.
Just so you know, we'll make this the last hot, what the fuck, Hill to Die on, because we should get on to the news segment of things.
Oh no, we can go straight to the news section.
Well, no. I think this is a fine ending.
Go for it.
Okay, I know it's something y'all probably don't know much about because it's again a children's show, but it's like recently taken a climb, and I want to see it go to PG-13 because I think they've got a lot of potential for Miraculous Ladybug.
I had a feeling you'd say that. Because it is a children's show,
Miraculous
I do not
Ladybugs
like
is
it
for
nor watch it.
nerds and pedos.
Whoa.
Well, I'm glad I'm on the first side of that.
Nerds.
No, I'm just saying, like, Miraculous. So, Adventure Time had, for example, which I didn't watch really. I watched like the moments, the highlights. But Adventure Time had a lot of more adult themes, so it kind of like was for a teen audience. But anything I've ever seen for Miraculous is like we're trying to make rated G. We're trying to make rated G Batman, essentially. And it's like we're trying to be sexy without being sexy. And it's like, well, why? Aren't you a kid's show?
I don't think I've ever seen anybody talk about it that way.
That's the only way I've ever heard it described.
Because, like, if I'm looking at it in the long wrong of things, I don't know what I just said.
Yeah, long wrong.
Long wrong, sure. Season 1 and 2, no, I would never defend those because those are actual garbage. But Season 3 is where it starts to pick up, and from then on, it's actually been fucking amazing, and I want to see more of it.
Hang on a second. Didn't we just get to the whole thing where it's like, it gets good at an extended point in time that was a bad thing?
Yeah.
You're contradicting yourself, man. Get it together!
I can have contradictions with exceptions.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying. As somebody, I would say, like, to be fair to you, I am somebody who still watches anime. I'm watching one right now. So, anime is technically cartoons because that's what anime means. So,
I definitely wouldn't say it's targeted towards children like Miraculous and My Little Pony, though.
That's what I was going to get to, is that
this
while they are...
an example of... I didn't think about it until just now.
What?
Miraculous.
Oh,
okay.
I'm saying, like, Miraculous is... anything I've ever seen is definitely more kiddie. And what gets me is You're a 24-year-old man who is married. You should be like having kids and doing other things. You're watching a kid show that you didn't grow up with, not one that you grew up with. You're just like now, like, within the last 2 years, found it, and you're watching it. You found it as an adult, and it's like it's a little weird.
I mean, 24 is not that old.
I'm not saying but you're not a kid.
No.
And
Like, this
again,
isn't a show that you
this
grew
was
up with.
something that Jasmine grew up with. I started watching it with her because she was excited about it, and she was right for me. It became
leads
only
back to
4
literally my
seasons.
first thing, where it was
But
like,
there's-
it's
but
fine
there's
if you're
only-
dragged into it.
But I was saying, how many seasons are there?
There's 5 seasons, and they are on the precipice of releasing a 6th season.
Has it been every single year?
No, not every single year.
Okay, let's say, because that would make you 19 when the first season came out, which is still, you're a grown-ass man.
When did the first season come out?
I have
That's a good
no
question.
If it came out after 2018, it's not for you.
Huh.
Because you were an adult. Like, you were a fully grown adult at that
So,
point.
one thing
The
I will
Tales of
say...
Ladybug and Cat Noir premiered in late 2015.
Oh,
Okay, you know what? That's fair.
yeah.
I'll give you that
That's
one.
of your
you
age.
You get a pass.
So, something I will say is, of the choices we've shown today, with My Little Pony versus Miraculous, I would much prefer to see people watch Miraculous than My Little Pony.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Immeasurably so. Because,
My Little
again,
Pony's meant for 5-year-olds.
it is. It is meant for super fucking young children. And if I see a grown-ass man looking at that show, fawning over it, you just look like a creep.
If your
I'm
15-year-old
sorry.
sister was looking over it, I would call her a nerd.
It's probably that
Yeah.
I like it so much because Ladybug has a lot of parallels with Spider-Man.
I think it's also part and parcel with her design.
No, also because she doesn't have a good life. She, like Spider-Man, is a tragedy character right now.
That's all
Yeah,
who Peter
but-
Parker is.
Yeah, but it's like, at that
Poor
point,
man
why wouldn't
can't
I
catch a
just,
break.
like, watch Spider-Man? I'm like,
Have I
It is-
ever told y'all
it's
how bad Peter has it right now?
Oh,
It's
I
it's
don't really
real.
care for Peter.
So let me give you something real quick, and just like swallow this down as much as you would like. So there was a story where Peter and May got sent to a future timeline,
of course.
and in this situation they were about to leave, but something happened and Peter got sent back to the present timeline, and May got left with a guy who was helping them. He eventually, after panicking a butt ton and going through a bunch of shit where I think he literally had to fight the Avengers, and eventually he managed to get himself back in that time so he can get Mary back. However, so many years had gone by at that time that she had an entire life to live. She had married the dude that had been left with her. She had kids with the guy, and then when he came back to get her, she was like,
Wait, Aunt
We
May is
can't-
like...
"Not
in
May,
her-
sorry,
in her-
not May. What's her fucking
Is it
name?
Mary
MJ?
Jane.
MJ.
Mary
Sorry,
Jane.
MJ.
Holy
Did I say
shit,
May?
yeah.
That
You said
changes
Aunt May.
everything.
Oh,
It
sorry.
changed.
Changed everything.
Mary
Holy
Jane,
shit.
Mary Jane,
He left
Mary Jane.
behind
My bad.
AJ?
Yes.
That's insane.
Well, no, he
She
didn't-
ended
he
up
didn't-
having kids with somebody else. That's
Yeah.
fucked up.
So yeah, no,
He
it's
got
really
stuck in a
bad.
different timeline.
He
He
got
didn't do
he
it
got
on purpose. though.
no, none of it was on purpose.
I know.
So he got
But he got
yoinked
cut
out
to
of
a
the
different
timeline
timeline.
that she was trapped in, and then
Interdimensional cucking.
literally
Yeah, that's
fought
literally what happened.
through the Avengers to go back to her, only for her to
Yeah.
cuck him with someone he left that he had to leave her with.
Wow.
And then and like it's like still like now it's still happening. He's trying his best to like care for her, but she keeps turning him down. He literally just saved her life in a recent comic and was like, "Can we talk a little bit?" And she's like, "I don't wanna," and just walks away. And he's just
was
sitting there,
this,
just
was
like,
this the same version of MJ that he left?
he didn't leave her.
Wait, whether intentionally or not, he did leave her. It was just unintentional.
Okay. I guess in a way it is still the word leave, but,
okay, but I'm
it's
saying-
leaving
so the
without
one-
intent is a better
Yes.
way of putting it.
This is the same version.
This is, yes. They eventually got
Okay, but of
corrected
course
onto their
she's gonna turn-
timelines.
And of course she's gonna turn it down. She was married. She has kids. She doesn't care about Peter
Well,
anymore.
no,
in that way.
I wasn't done.
Oh, okay.
So, it gets worse. The kids she had weren't real.
What?
the fuck?
This is the most comic book story ever.
Yes, exactly.
There's multiple timelines.
It-
there was
it
different
was-
universes.
It was something to do with correcting the timeline, I think, and it got rid of the kids. Or some shit like that.
Wait, so
or
the kids were real. Just
Well, no,
they
no,
just
there
got
was,
taken
like-
away?
I think they were... I don't remember exactly how the storyline goes, because it has been a while since I've read it, but it was like... They legitimately were not actually real children. But they disappeared when things got corrected because of it. But because of that, she holds all of everything against Peter, even though he didn't cause any of it. She blames him for something he
destruction of
had...
it.
Well, no, he didn't. She
Him
blames
going
him
back
for...
caused-
Huh?
Him going back would have caused it.
Well, I don't know if exactly it was him going back or something that happened like when he got back and someone did something to him there. I don't remember how that part unfolds, the after the math. I just remember the stuff that happened in a comic that came a little after that. And it was just like... Are you serious?
Why doesn't he just get with Black Cat?
I would much prefer it. Because at that point, like, do something, please. Stop making him such a sad man. At this point, he's got a better relationship with Venom, which he does, by the way.
What a way to phrase that.
Well, here's the thing: is that like Stan Lee's purposely made it to where he always fails. There's nothing he could do to ever truly win. In
Well,
a
no,
life.
he
So
wins. They just keep resetting him. He has a lot of highs. He.
Well, no,
what-
you're taking winning in a different aspect. I'm not saying in a fight.
No, I don't mean
He
in
wins in a
fighting.
fight.
No, I mean in general. He has a lot of good shit happen to him. He, at one point, was the head of a company.
Yeah.
He was making a
Parker
fuck ton of money,
Industries.
lived a great, like, he had a great
You know-
life.
You know, what's my favorite Parker Industries moment, and it has
Ooh.
nothing to do with Spider-Man. Oh, it's not directly.
What?
You ever seen the comic book where this woman is working her way up to jumping off a building, and it just so happened to be Deadpool's apartment building,
Oh, yes, I know about that.
and he approaches her and he talks to her, and basically he keeps joking about, no, Peter Parker Industries, now that's a building you should jump off. of." And what touched me is, well, no, but here's the thing. Well, no, here's the thing: is like someone had mentioned this in the comments, in the comments, and I was reading it was because this is an online version, and like somebody in the comments was like, the reason why Deadpool was suggesting her to jump off of Peter Parker Industries was that because something that he says afterwards was, "I'm not the hero that you really need. I'm not going to give you some great speech about how great life is and that you should keep fighting." But what he's doing is that he knows Spider-Man is.
Mhm.
So if she jumps off of Peter Parker Industries, Spider-Man is going to save her. Spider-Man can, give the rally cry and, give hope to the hopeless.
Unless he does another Gwen
Deadpool can't.
situation.
Wait, what?
Unless he pulls a Gwen.
Yeah, but I mean, in the idea that he doesn't,
Yeah.
it's Deadpool. It's Deadpool's way of like,
Yeah.
being himself and saying, "Go jump off."
I also, if I recall, I think
and
he
also
gives
trying
her.
to save her.
I think he gives her either a chili dog or a corn dog. He's like, "You want a corn dog, by the way?" And she's like, "Yes."
Oh no, she does get saved by the end, and it's
Yeah,
a very
she
beautiful
does.
comment.
It's a very good
Comment.
comic. I love that.
It actually proves, because what's funny is like throughout the entire thing, he goes, "I'm not the hero that you need. I can't save you," but
He
does
does at
save
the
her
end.
in the end. So it's like it's kind of like a redemption-esque.
Actually, you want to know a really
Deadpool.
fun fact about Deadpool?
I guess.
He. Well, I'll make this the last thing, and then we'll move on to other things. But this is a really cool fact, and I do like it about Deadpool's character. He can actually heal his scars. All of the shit he has with the cancer, he can heal that. He's done it before. The reason he still has those scars is because he thinks he's a bad person. His mentality prevents his healing factor from working at 100%. His mentality is what prevents that cancer from fully leaving his body.
Turns out we were the cancer all along.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna get into that. Anyways, I'm gonna click a button now on this, and we're gonna get to the funny news section of things. table. Now we're both sitting in front of it this time, not just me. So, I guess we kind of talked about the movie section of news with the gaming section of news with Concord, sorry. The movie section we dabbled in a little bit with a Minecraft movie. I want to talk about another movie that's coming out that we didn't really dabble in, but we hinted at, which is the Sonic 3 movie.
Yes.
Holy shit, it looks good.
Literally,
Sonic...
before it even came out, people were just like, if Shadow has a voice actor, it needs to be Keanu Reeves. Or somebody else that I can't remember who it was, but...
I have no intention of seeing this film, nor have I seen a single trailer.
Look, this is Keanu Reeves. He has denied going to Marvel, but has decided to show his face in SpongeBob and Sonic.
I forgot.
Jim Carrey
that's who he is.
Jim Carrey retired and said he would not act again unless he was handed golden script that he wanted to act in. And both times he has come back for Sonic. This time as 2 separate characters.
He really loves Dr. Eggman right now. Like, he's living the life.
He loves it.
But, like, for me, the reason this movie looks so good is because they're paying so much respect to Shadow's lore. His character has so much that fits in, like, his actual, like, video game lore and shit. That's just really good. I love it.
It's gonna be really weird if you go to see this in theaters, and then a little girl gets shot and everybody cheers. If you don't know anything about Sonic, you're gonna fucking...
God. What I find, I think, personally, one of the funniest things is, for me, at least, I think they've done, not the impossible, but I think they've done a rare situation with movies, which is, their sequels have been better so far than their first launches. The first Sonic movie was really good. The second one was better. I loved the second one so much more than I loved the first one. And this third one might honestly, it looks like it's going to be even better than the sequel was. I almost wholeheartedly believe it is. Like, it's, I'm really excited for that's release. Definitely going to the theaters with Kristen for that one.
It's one of them that, like, I feel like we should all get together to see it.
Probably, if we ever fucking
Because
can.
Wasn't the first Sonic movie where I asked you to be my best man as well?
I think it was. I think it was at the end of the movie. We were walking out, and you were like, "Oh, by the way, do you want to be my best man?" I was like, huh?
And like you were like, "Are you sure you don't want that to be Dylan?"
Yeah, no, because at the time I thought you guys were hanging out a lot more than I was.
I still hold to this day. I think I got snubbed a little bit.
Why, you want to be the father?
Not because I was the most deserving of the role, because I did what the role was supposed to do. Besides the speech, which you explicitly said that no one was allowed to do.
That is true.
Besides that, everything else the best man was supposed to do, I did do.
I am confused by what you mean.
What are you confused by?
What do you mean you did what I should have done?
Well, it's not that you didn't do, because you were there for a lot of it. I'm saying, like, especially compared to someone like Dylan, someone compared to, like, Kevin, a lot of the other groomsmen, I was far more on par with everything that you did. And I would say on the day of, I probably did more, but the day of, who gives a shit? And so it's like...
I just want to ask what the more part is?
I definitely didn't deserve the role of... I'm better than Kevin.
I'm just saying, like, I had to run...
I want that on the record.
I'm just saying, I didn't do much, but I did do a lot. And one of the things I did is I had to drive really fast back to Home Depot so I could get a small hammer and a bunch of thumbtacks so we could do the thing we were supposed to that we originally weren't going to do. I'm just saying, no one else drove like I did. No one else risked the time. I think the only thing we all risked was apparently not getting a message.
Drive to Home Depot. That is true. Absolutely, 100%. Not taking that away from you.
By the way, little question. Do y'all remember when we were waiting for the food to come? Because apparently we were supposed to, like, get it beforehand?
Yeah.
Where was the message to get it beforehand?
No, I remember. This was, like, the weirdest thing, because me and Kevin who were there, like actually making sure everything was fine. I think at this point, we had clearly seen it, but I guess it had been in a different chat because it got confused everybody that was supposed to do it. Like no, like me and Kevin were like, why is this a problem? It's obviously there. You just go do it. While everyone else is like ripping each other's hairs out, like what is going on?
I just remember us getting there and them taking out the food, being like, "Where were you guys? You were supposed to get the food." And we're like, "We didn't know the food was. You thought you guys were getting it."
Yeah,
it was so
was
confusing.
Funny. No, that was funny because me and Kevin were outside of that bubble. We got to see both sides, and like, because it was boys and girls, and it was clearly stated that was one of the jobs the boys had to do, and then like somewhere on the line that got completely twisted around, and it was like Spider-Man meme of like, did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? Did these guys get it? It's like, no. It all eventually worked out.
It did. It was actually a really fun wedding.
But yeah, the Sonic movie.
Yeah, listen, I'm trying to say what I want to say without actually getting into details because I don't want to just like bring up his entire wedding on the podcast.
It is funny.
No, that's fine. But I'm also thinking that they're pulling I think they're pulling a card from Spider-Man: No Way Home.
All I'm saying is that if we were ranking the groomsmen, I'm higher than Kevin. That's all I want. I don't care to be second, but I'm higher than Kevin. Damn it.
You know, to be fair, I did think I was lower than Dylan. I did think he was going to be your.
I gave you the shoes off of my feet, sir.
That was funny.
I'm above Kevin.
Yeah, thanks, Goodwill.
Yeah.
Hey, I popped my my shirt buttons for him, so where you at?
I thought you were gonna go somewhere weird with that.
I hulked out for him, where were you do?
But I think
that I gave my shoes.
Back on topic.
Yeah, let's steer it back over.
Back on topic. I think that shades from No Way Home's book. Oh my God, is it being called?
It was Cameron. Just gotta text him.
Oh my God. But I think they're pulling a book from No Way Home. All right.
What makes you say that?
In one of the scenes, they look weirdly shifted to the left, like they're hiding a character. There's even a fucking shadow where the character would be that they didn't edit out. And I'm trying to figure out what character. I want to figure out what character they're putting in there because it could be a lot of different people, but the main suspicion is Amy Rose.
I assume that's who it would probably be.
I hope they add Rouge because I want to see what the internet's gonna do.
Oh, I don't.
I don't even know what a Rouge is.
I want to see
Rouge
if they're gonna.
I don't know what that.
He doesn't watch Sonic, remember? So she's the booby bat that you see in a lot of things. But what I really want to see is, are they going to design her accurately, or are they going to PG-13 her? And I hope for PG-13.
Oh.
But regardless, I'm very curious to see what the internet's reaction to if they do PG-13 her.
You know what they should do? They should go full on Jessica Rabbit. Just not give a fuck.
Either way, I think it would be
just
funny.
Not give a fuck.
I just want to see what the internet's gonna do when they see it.
I hope they give Shadow a gun.
That would be funny. Where he cocks an assault rifle.
Yes, I want to see that.
I want to see Shadow cock a gun and go. We gotta go fight those Jeps. Whatever he says, and
he's gonna cock a gun and go. It's Borderlanding time.
Is he in Borderlands?
No, I'm making a fucking reference to the Borderlands movie.
Oh.
Because I wasn't here to talk about that one.
Oh yeah. No, what is it? What did he say? Samurai. Yeah, there we go. We gotta go fight Robotnik Samurai. just like he does in Cyberpunk.
Sorry. So I found out what camera was
I'm also
funny.
not gonna watch this movie, so I don't really care. It's fine.
I think you might like the Sonic movies.
You know what's funny? The last time me and you, Ethan, went to go see a movie, I think it was the second. No, it was the first My Hero movie. No.
Really?
Yeah. It was the second one is where Bakugo gets all for one, and I texted Kevin the moment I saw it, and I was like, in my chair, I was like freaking the fuck out. This is my favorite character getting the best upgrade ever. And I was like, please make this a separate timeline where he keeps it.
So fucking pissed when they removed it from him.
I wasn't pissed because it was still really cool, but I was like, I wanted them to make the movie a separate timeline and to keep it and then make the next movie where he still has it. Like, that's the movie that I wanted, but I can understand why they didn't do it. I'm like, whatever.
I just want to state that the My Hero talk makes me so afraid for the eventual Quinn guest starring.
Oh, it's
because I know that I might as well just
That's a
leave
hot
that
take.
podcast episode. Just leave it for you two.
You might as
It's gonna be
3 hours on
crazy.
its own.
Yeah.
No, but here, like, the thing is, there might not be a D&D after that. No.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
No, I'll be fine. But so, what are we talking about?
Sonic 3.
What about it? What was I talking?
You're
talking about Rouge the Bat and a hidden character. that
Titty
could possibly
Bat,
be a
and then
Titty
possibly other ones.
No, but what was it? What was I talking about My Hero? Oh, the movie. That's the last time we saw a movie together. It was the first My Hero movie.
Mhm.
It was really cool and definitely a fire hazard because there were way too many people in there. And I was kind of upset that we didn't go watch the second one together. And since we didn't watch the second one, we didn't watch the third one. I didn't give a fuck at that point. So maybe that's the problem. Like, I don't care about Sonic, but maybe I would like the movie if I saw it with you. If I saw the movie by myself, I wouldn't care.
Yeah. Half the
I
time,
don't
if you
know
have someone
anything
with
that's
you, it
happening
makes
on.
enjoying things like that a lot better.
Well, especially people that know what's going on. I know, like, when I
Yeah.
watched the Batman with my sister, who doesn't know anything about Batman, really. Like, she knows, like, the Nolan trilogy, which is the one that you would know, the live-action one that everyone saw.
My eye.
The Nolan trilogy, she saw that. So she doesn't know anything about, like, the actual lore of Batman, like I do, 'cause I'm super into Batman. So when she's asking, who the fuck's the Riddler? I'm like, this isn't a very good Riddler, but this is who he is. And I'll explain who he is to her a little bit. So it's like, having something like that, to me, is very valuable, to where it goes both ways. If I know nothing about something, I won't care. You gotta give me a reason to care about something. And, like, vice versa, where she was like, I don't give a fuck about the fucking Batman movie. Why should I care about this? And I told her, I'm like, she's like, and then she got invested, and she loved the movie after that.
Yeah.
And that's a hot take. I think Robert Pattinson was a great Batman.
I've only ever heard good things about that movie.
I think now there are a few things, like the Riddler wasn't the best version of Riddler ever. It was pretty bad, but as a character, he wasn't bad. Like, as a character inside the story, it wasn't bad, but as the Riddler, it was bad. You know?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Similarly to, this is a big hot take. In the Nolan trilogy, as much as we love Heath Ledger was a terrible Joker.
That's a big hot take.
That's a big hot take. Are you sure about that?
Because he wasn't playing the Joker. That's not who the Joker was in the comics. That's not the character. He wasn't a good characterization of the Joker. He was a fantastic, whatever the fuck that version of the Joker was. Like, he's still my second favorite film Joker, but number one being Mark Hamill. But, like, he's one of my favorite acted Jokers. But that character that he played was not the Joker. That is not the guy from the comics.
Yeah.
So, like, that's what it is to me. Now, arguably, that's the same thing with his version of Batman. What's his name? Oh, American Psycho. Oh, God. The actor's name for Batman in that film. Give me a second. One moment. Christian Bale. There we go. Christian Bale plays a great Bruce Wayne, not a great Batman. And so it's like it's because he does have that I'm a playboy billionaire attitude, so he can do Bruce Wayne, but he doesn't have the physicality to really be a great Batman.
Yeah.
Not to mention, this isn't really his fault. This is more the director and the writers. But, like, he was so bland and basic and, like, where's Rachel? Where's Rachel? That's all he really cared about. It's like, that's not Batman. That's not who he is in the comics after he's 19. So it's like, come on. You know, give him a little bit of pizzazz, a little Batman spirit. So it's like, there's stuff like that in movies that happens a lot, so that kind of sways things. But as you said, Sonic has been fairly faithful. Borderlands, as you mentioned, was a movie that was not faithful at all, and is the reason I'm not gonna watch it. Even it's not even worth it to like watch it online for free. It ain't worth it even to do that. It's just a waste of time. I wouldn't even do that. So it's like that's how bad it was.
I have
based on what
barely
you said,
played
Sonic,
any Borderlands games, but even I know that movie is garbage.
my favorite
I
character
think you could give
is
the
Tiny
Sonic
Tina.
movie a chance.
They fucked it up.
I do think. I think that'd be a fun watch, like group watch.
Maybe if we did like a group watch, like because like I said, I don't care. And when I say I don't care. I'm not saying like it's bad, or I'm not saying like here or there. I'm saying to me, I've never really played any Sonic games besides the original, there's not really much going on in there, and Sonic 06, which is apparently super hated. Those are the only two experiences I have with any of those characters. Maybe besides a few scenes from one of the cartoons. Like I've seen a few of those because Knuckles apparently is super funny in that. I saw a compilation of Knuckles. That's about it. Like that is the complete exposure I have to these characters. So I need a reason to care. And if my reason to care is that you guys care and I care about you, that could be enough to spark some interest. But if I watched the movie on my own, I probably couldn't get through it.
Yeah.
Because I don't like Jim Carrey outright. So that's already not going to keep me.
Really?
I just don't. I don't like him as a person. As an actor, he's good. I don't like him as a person.
I can get behind that. Yeah, he's a bit of a freak outside of the acting world.
Yeah. No, I mean to give an example of how good he can be. I was there for Ethan's first time, or at least Kevin's first time. I forget who was the first time it was.
It was
but
Kevin.
It was Kevin's first time watching The Truman Show.
Oh, God.
That is him at his best. That is the best Jim Carrey movie.
Actually,
And he's got a lot of good movies.
I think The Mask is his best Jim Carrey movie. Because that shows a good dichotomy of what Jim Carrey acts like versus what he, I guess, is, effectively. Because you go from Stanley Ipkiss, who is this just like... He's a guy who wants to have more than he already has. His world isn't the greatest. His worldview is not amazing.
No.
But then you go from that to The Mask, which is this epitome of being a goofball, which is everything Jim Carrey is. You basically get to see Jim Carrey at his truest form. And I think that's why The Mask was such a good movie.
I think that's fair. The reason why I would still prefer The Truman Show is I like it when actors are taken out of their element.
Yeah.
He is a comedian, so when he's not being a comedian and he's being very serious, it's almost shockingly good. It shocks you into being like, oh, I'm watching a Jim Carrey movie.
I don't remember what movie the name is, but he actually has a very serious movie.
I know he does.
It's a mostly silent movie, I believe. But it's, all I remember is, I think it's a murder mystery. And I think it turns out he is the person who caused the murder, he just doesn't know it. Or something like that. I don't really remember, because I've only ever saw glimpses of it, because I didn't know it existed. But apparently it was starkingly different than from what he normally does. That people were just like, "This is not Jim Carrey."
It's like this. You can even have the things that you're into. Like there is like the crazy Jim Carrey isms in the Truman Show. So you can have who you are in it. But this is why I like The Click. Like we have a whole thing about Adam Sandler movies. Click is my favorite because it's such a more serious Adam Sandler movie. It's not all just like joking, what with his friends, like Grown Ups is, which Grown Ups is in its own way a really good movie too. They're not gonna make a third one because it has passed, sadly. But
wait, who passed away?
The youngest son in those two films, he passed at 21. Yeah, he was young.
Oh, wait, is it who I think it is? Hold on a second.
It probably he's in a lot of other stuff too.
Is it the kid who was in the Disney stuff?
Yeah, I guess he's in a lot of stuff.
I think I know who it is, and no, if
Cameron
it is
something.
who I think it is, then that's really sad.
It's like Cameron something. I forget his name on top of my head.
Yep, Cameron Boyce. Man, he so fucking young.
Yeah, he was. I believe he was exactly 21 when he passed,
Yeah.
or 20, maybe 22. It's like, yeah, it's like that. I don't even watch a lot of like his stuff, but that hit just because of the age alone, and it's just like a lot of the things that he was in. Just not gonna get
I
anymore
watched the
because there's no way.
shows. I watched some of his Disney shows that really brought him into popularity. And whenever I eventually learned that he had passed away, I think it was around the time that my sister was getting into Descendants. It was just such
Yeah.
a shock because, like, he's
Not a
so
lot of people
fucking
pass that way.
young.
Yeah,
But I think
and
he
it made
had
you
some like
think it's a-
heart disease or something.
it was a mix of things, I think, but it's like ultimately the things that he were in, either out of respect for him or out of just how hard it would be for any of the other actors, they're just not really doing, at least not in the same way. I think that is Descendants, a new one, but it's like a completely new cast. So it's like all the people that would have known him aren't coming back. So it's like it's a lot of that kind of thing, which I understand. But so that's sad that you're not going to get a third one of those movies or anything like that. But as far as Adam Sandler movies, I like Click because it is much more serious. It's not just comedy. It goes into, oh, Adam Sandler, when he wants to be serious, can be very serious and very good at it. So I like when people are taken out of their element, I guess you'd say. And I love that kind of thing. Or Deadpool and Wolverine. When you see he's not Captain America in that film. When you see Chris Evans being really funny, I'm not used to that. I'm used to him being Captain America, the ultimate superhero that never gets bent and always hopeful. But when you see him just like cursing left and right and like making weird side jokes, it's so good. So it's like, yeah, that's what I like the most, is when you take people completely out of their element, ultra one side or the other. It's nice.
So, by the way, I found the movie I was talking about, and yeah, no, it was very not liked. Thankfully, it wasn't because of Jim Carrey, but apparently it was a very slow and like too obvious of a plot type of movie. It's called Dark Crimes.
Oh God, this sounds like a B movie.
Yeah, one of the funny things is I was reading the comments, and one of them was, the only way to enjoy this film was to have a shot every time Jim Carrey opens and closes a door. You'll be smashed within 5 minutes and won't be able to see within 10. I was like,
apparently opens and closes a lot of doors.
Yeah, apparently it's really funny though. But yeah, no, it's. I remember watching. I think it was the trailer for this movie, and yeah, no, it's a lot more of a serious movie because he wanted to be not. He didn't want to be in a movie that was super funny like he always is. He wanted one that was more grounded. But the movie just flopped, so I guess I don't know what that says.
Yeah.
But either way.
I'll get into the short. It'll probably be very short, but the anime section. You talk about anime a lot.
There's actually a lot of things to talk about on this one.
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to get to was I've been watching a new anime recently. I don't think I mentioned this. I think I mentioned it before podcast, not during it.
Yeah, you mentioned it before podcast.
Yeah.
I've been watching through a heavily recommended through YouTube. The ads won't leave me alone, so I was like, it looks good, I'll watch it. But it is Alia Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian, which, classic anime naming.
Yep.
But it's actually been really good. However, it does the one thing that a lot of animes do very unnecessarily. So it introduces several female characters, and as it does, and a few of them, like, they're not like interested in him, in the main guy, but they're not like not in like. He's kind of he's like one of those people that is like popular, but he's like a lazy popular. It's like people know him, but he's not like active. So it's kind of like that. So when he's talking to this like these super popular girls, people are like, "Whoa, how do you know them?" And there's this one girl in the very beginning that's said to be his childhood friend, and that's what he says, and that's how they go. She's a student council, and she's like she is set up to be the opposite love interest from the very beginning. This is the person that he grew up next to and he's very close to, and then there's Aaliyah, who's a foreigner who he's just now getting to know at the end of middle school and early high school, which is where we are now, or the equivalent of, because Japan. But then suddenly in like episode 4, she like the previous girl, the girl he grew up with and is his like his lifelong friend is how they describe it, and for 3 episodes straight, suddenly she's like in his bed and he's like, why are you here? And then she goes, well, I'm your sister, idiot. And like she doesn't say exactly like that, but it's like the big reveal is that secretly they've been siblings this whole time, but for 3 straight episodes it's saying that they were childhood friends and that's who they are to each other, that's why they're so close and they joke around. But then in the 4th episode they're like, nah bitch, they're siblings, they just live in different houses because
I really
their parents
hope
divorced
it
and got a
doesn't.
child each.
I really hope it doesn't go
what?
down the normal line of that in anime.
I can unfortunately tell you that is very one-sided, which is what I appreciate about it. She flirts with him, but he immediately shuts it down in a very funny way that I've never seen. Like, going back to To Love Ru or whatever, whenever someone does, like, when he ever walks in on somebody in the bathroom or does anything that's somewhat intimate with a female, he freaks the fuck out, runs away as they run, and they hit him a whole bunch. This dude is like, he whips open the door, and she's like, obviously purposely, drying off, and is trying to get him to see her, and then he just goes, I've seen better, closes the door. And it's like, and then she's like, and then she like freaks the fuck out, and it's like, oh, he hates me, is all this stuff, and it's like, it's the funniest shit ever, because he cannot be bothered. He just does not care at all. She like hides under his bed, and he's like, you're a gremlin, and he like tries to smother her to death. It's like all this weird shit where she like tries to flirt with him, and he immediately shuts it down in the funniest, like sharpest way possible. And it's such a breath of fresh air to have a character who is not easily flustered.
Yeah.
Even the main girl flirts with him openly, and he's like, all right. Like, she whips out of the, like, she does, like, this whole changing thing where she, hey, stand there, I'm gonna change clothes. You, like, one of those changing rooms.
That's one of the things I'm also liking about an anime. Kind of the same way that got you for yours recently. Mm-hmm. I've also been hit with a bunch of clips from Psyche, the Disastrous Life of Psyche. It's supposed to be a play on psychic, because he's, like, an insane psychic with really dangerous powers, but he's just like, yeah, I don't tend to use them a lot. And one of the girls in that show is like crazy about being the perfect girl and all that. And she's looking at him, like, oh, he's gonna want to be with me all the time. And when he shows no interest at all, she's just like, what? Wait, but that means I'm not perfect. He doesn't like me. I've got to make him like me.
Yeah. But no, that's what I'm saying is like it. It's refreshing to have a character in the same genre as something that as we've seen before, who acts completely different. He acts much more like a real person. And it's like, oh, thankful. It's like, yes, it's a breath of fresh air, which is why I've been liking it. Because like, I want to say the extra weird part is a lot of them, like a To Love Ru, his little sister in that is adopted. Like they clearly say that, like he still views them as siblings, but she is like, no, I'm your adopted sister. Like she's very upfront with it, which is why her flirtations is like kind of okay, because she's actively being like, no, that's not what our relationship is. But in this one, they triple down on it by being like, no, they're biological siblings. In fact, I think they might be like it's really weird. Because I think they're in the same grade, but she's like a year younger. So I thought they were twins at first. They might still be twins. I don't know. It never says that it says that she's the younger sister, but it doesn't say how young she is compared to him. But they're in the same class, in the same school, all this other stuff. So it's a little weird. Maybe they're twins. I don't know.
But anything like, that goes that line of stuff just always.
But it's like at least To Love Ru had the decency to be like, they're not actually siblings.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, at least do that. Don't
make them related, folks. It's really weird.
Yeah, just stay away from. I I will say this: I am a man who, when I read or watch Game of Thrones, especially read Game of Thrones, I want Arya and Jon to end up together. It is the correct ending. They are not siblings. They are cousins, but still, that is the right
Fucking
ending.
excuse me.
Okay, we're gonna need to. This is gonna be an entirely new podcast all on its own. Small context. So he comes from the Targaryen line, who constantly inbreeds. Like they marry like sisters to brothers, and sons to aunts, like that kind of stuff. They do it constantly. By the way, in the other side, because that's the Targaryen blood. On the other side, with the more Nordic style Starks, they marry first cousins occasionally, not often,
What
but
even
occasionally.
is Game of Thrones about? I don't know anything about it.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Oh, that's a lot. That would be so much to get into.
Okay, don't worry about that.
We're too long in the tooth for this in this episode. But the point is that's the family breakdown. They are raised as siblings because her father, his uncle, doesn't say who he's from, because the whole secret is that he's a secret prince. Like you're not supposed to know who he is in reality. But that's not the relationship they have, really. Like she has a brotherly relationship with Rob, her other older brother, but at no point does she really have anything less than not a physically intimate relationship with Jon, but she has an intimate relationship with him. It's much more like intimate as in like close knit, like not intimate, like sexually intimate, more like casually intimate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the relationship they more have. In fact, whenever he does get physically intimate with a girl, he thinks about Arya at one point. And when Arya thinks, because she's a kid, when she's starting to mature and thinks about what it would be like to have sex, she thinks about Jon. So it's like it really builds them as like being interested in each other, and then you get the reveal that he is a Targaryen, so marrying inside isn't fuck you. but marrying inside the family's not weird to him, or to really in marrying first cousins isn't weird to her. Mind you, she's essentially a princess, he's essentially a king. So it's not as weird. Like it's weird in real life, but in a book scenario, being based off of older England, it's fine.
It's weird. Anyways,
Hey,
for people who are wondering why he said "fuck you," I sent him a fun video known as "First Cousins" by Brad Paisley. You should watch it.
No. I want to point out the canonical ending for him in the show is that he gets with his aunt. Getting with your aunt is far worse than getting with your.
Oh, definitely. Any form of incest is weird, just flat out, right? There is no niceness to that.
Yeah, I'm saying like that's not really an option. The options are either incest or incest. I'm going with the less incest.
With the less incest. See, okay, that no, just have the characters kill themselves.
No, that's fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Anyways.
No.
So.
But with the context of who they are. Like, they're meant to be royals. Royals inbreed all the time. I'm not saying that you should do it.
Historical-wise, yes. Historical-wise, it does make sense. I'm just saying that because I like poking it. That's funny. It's why I said the song. It's so funny.
Yeah,
it's like perfect for this moment.
Game of Thrones good book. That's who should have to get.
Yeah, okay.
We will revisit this topic.
I'm sure. That aside, there is something I do want to talk about when it comes to anime. I don't watch a lot of anime, however, I do read some, and because we are also coming close to the
manga, not anime.
I'm getting to that. Because we are getting kind of close to the end of this podcast episode, I'm going to try and keep this short because what I was going to talk about is specifically I wanted to I guess kind of brief on the ending of JJK or Jujutsu Kaisen. That is literally coming up in a few times.
I haven't seen that either.
So, first off the bat, who cares about JJK right now in this call?
I don't.
Ethan?
What is that? I feel like I've been so quiet this episode because I don't know anything you guys are talking about.
Do you know anything about anything or have any sorts of opinions?
That's funny.
Gee.
Well, no, you've spoken through a lot.
I've brought up stuff, but it feels like a lot of stuff y'all have brought up, I haven't known about. I've never
And
watched.
ask, like, it's like being silent isn't the right answer.
I mean, I
Ask
did.
about it.
I did ask
He
about
did.
Game of Thrones.
That is true. That is true.
That's true. He did.
But
He's learning.
sadly,
But
we're at way at
to-
the end of this episode. But if you
yeah,
had asked,
hold on.
like,
To
an hour
continue-
before.
To continue with what I was saying, I'm going to put a thing here. Spoilers for the end of JJK. If you do not care about that, then I hope you have a good day.
Oh, Jujutsu Kaisen.
Son of a bitch. Yes. Spoilers for the ending of JJK, or at least
Ethan doesn't listen.
the closing to the ending. Do you care about that, Ethan? Real fast.
No, not at all.
Cool. So they just finally killed off the big enemy of that show, Sukuna, who is this curse. They're called curses, but he's like a demon effectively. And he's really fucking cool, and they just finally
That sounds
killed him.
familiar.
What it was is in the thing, just to give you a brief summary, he was originally implanted into the main character's body, and he was like a fucking Naruto Kurama situation, right? Except he was just
Sounds
pure
familiar.
evil. Just wanted to kill everyone. He did not give a shit. And at some point, he put himself in the body of a better host that happened to also be friends with the main character. So, times skip ahead, he adapts himself to this body, and he gets really fucking strong, to the point where he eventually fights the cool character of the show, Gojo, which I'm pretty sure everyone probably has already heard that name before, but
No, never heard of actually.
that's fine. Regardless, that dude dies at some point, and then the main villain goes on to do like the final fight with literally every remaining character. It's a really cool scene, and like there's so much shit that happens. It's really cool. What I'm mostly happy about is how it has ended, and the reason I'm happy about it also is kind of why a lot of people are upset about it, is that it just ends. There's no like special fanatical like ending to it. It just ends. The guy just dies.
Like
like-
My Hero.
I guess kind of. At least that's what it's looking like.
Where everyone got
It's-
angry
we're-
that nothing really happened.
Kind of. Because, like, what happens is, when the guy gets forced out of his friend's body, his body cannot whatever is left cannot maintain without being inside of host, so it starts to shrivel up. So he immediately starts to die. So the guy, he comes up to him and is like, listen, I'll give you, like, I know you have this philosophy of just being evil and shit like that, but I've given you time after time of chance, and I'm giving you one final chance. If you join me, you will not die, but you will at least be alive, and you'll just see the world through my eyes like you've done 1,000 times already. And the ending was just like, I just hope you know, like, I get what you're doing, you're being sappy and all that, but I'm a curse. And then it just ends that right there. Like, he just does, it's over. That's it. And I love that. Because for once, it's an enemy, a villain, who just is evil for the sake of being evil. And that's it. He just doesn't give a shit. And he doesn't care for sappy, like, turnarounds. He doesn't care for any of that. He's like, dude, I'm basically the devil. No, you're not getting sympathy back from me. Even if you're trying to do that unto me in my final moments. I don't give a shit. I love that. And a lot of people were like really wanting more out of Sukuna in that final moment, but they couldn't get it. But anyways, that's my thing. I sometimes like a villain that's just evil. And I don't feel like we get that a lot.
I would say in that same vein, as far as like just like, the sharp ending, while it's not what I personally would have preferred for the ending, going back to My Hero ended in the only way My Hero could without pissing everyone off.
Yeah.
Having such an open ending to where you don't know what happens to anybody was the single only way to end it without getting literally everybody angry.
I 100% agree. Especially with having a fan base that is as vitriol as the My Hero one is. So, smartest movie ever could have made.
I'm glad that he never made any ships canon. 'Cause
Yep.
Good God.
Except for
Yep.
one. Sucks to suck.
That is true. He did make one of them canon.
He made one of them. Because like the other ones, he had a few that were heavily hinted, but there's only one that actually shared technically the word love in it, and that's Jiro and Kaminari.
Yeah.
Because Midnight says, if you can't save the world, how about you save someone you love? And then he turns around, looks at Jiro, and Jiro says, get it done, chargeable. So there's the only time the word love is compared to any particular people were those two.
Yep. Well, I mean, I think it's been said like that Uraraka loves Deku, but I don't think it's on the same scale as obviously what you said. So yeah.
Actually, it's never explicitly said that she loves him, which is very weird. Now, Togura, who is the main girl, who's main bad girl, she actively says that she loves him, and she even implies that, well, if I love him and I love you, you probably like him too. And Uraka will say that she likes Deku, but she never claims to have loved him. Which she's like 17, so like, of course, none of them are really in love because they're children.
They're learning.
But you know.
But anyways,
point being is that
My Hero Academia fandom scares me.
It does, and it should.
They are terrifying.
It's why it's kind of good that Ruby has died. But going on to enemies that are just bad. All for One is a good example of that.
Yeah. I was actually going to bring that up when you were talking about My Hero is. Similarly, funny enough, they really do die very similarly, both disintegrating.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just a villain who is just bad, and I like that. I like that a lot. That's why I liked All for One so much.
Well, what I like about the One for All thing is that you had both. You had a villain who was just pure evil, and then you had Shigaraki, which isn't his name, but even then, it's like you had a character who still dies in the end, but an enemy that you could slightly redeem. So you had the best of both worlds.
My Hero, I think, ended perfectly. As perfect as it could get.
It ended the only way you could have.
And just like those shows and anime and manga are ending, so too is this episode of the podcast. We would like to thank you all for joining, and I'd also like to thank...
hot take?
Sure.
You want one last hot take?
One hot take, and we're not going to rebuttal.
One anime that should end Dragon Ball. See you next time.
Before we fully end it, I want to thank Ethan for joining us. Ethan, do you have anything you'd like to shout out about yourself?
No, I just want to say I disagree. Goodbye.
All right. He has a channel. It'll be down in the description, just so you know. Also, don't forget to join the very YouTube channel you subscribe to right here, but also our Discord. That's where all the fun stuff is happening monthly and all that. So do join that if you want to be there. Our stuff's also down in the description, just so you know. But with all that being said, we're going to be heading off for the time being. We'll see y'all next time. Have a good one, everybody. Oh, bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.